Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everyone in between, welcome back to the ESFL. We are in our Undisputed season, the halfway point of the Undisputed season. I am your host and commentator for tonight's event, Kingsley. And alongside me is the one, the only, Ruthless Omi. Ruthless Omi, how you doing today, man?
Man, I'm excited. It's great to be back in the ESFL doing commentary, and I get to see some great action inside of Undisputed. Heard some nice things coming out of this most recent patch, talking about more knockouts, and hopefully we're going to see that here tonight, Kingsley.
Yeah, absolutely. I know, like, it's been a while since we done commentary together since ESFL did some UFC affiliate league stuff. So it's happy to see you back here along with us doing the main shows, especially in Undisputed. But speaking of all the exciting stuff that we have, we're at the midway point. We still have 3 more weeks after this one to go. So let's take a look at the fight card to see what's on deck for the midpoint of the season. And as you see here, Omi, we have a bunch of amazing fights on the docket. We have JMMA versus a woke sports fan, Game Over versus King Young Butter, TLG versus Legend versus Word Life, Fight Night's Finest versus Uncle Talent, EyeGameUWatch going against Royszn, Pryoxis versus Addict85 in the co-main event. And then the main event, Loso versus Jobe, two undefeateds going after each other, the top 2 spots on the line. I mean, when you look at this whole fight card, what are you excited to see, especially along with the new patch of what's going to be happening in this contest?
So what's really interesting is that I've commentated for Jobe and the ECA organization, another undisputed organization who used to do undisputed games. And that man right there, that is a golden main event. And I've actually seen these two fight before in that organization. I'll tell you what, we're in for a real treat coming from these guys. They're very high technical boxers. They understand range very well. I mean, of course, for one, let's give a shout out to Pryoxis. He just did 100K followers. That co-main event's going to be worthy of your viewing pleasure. And then, of course, grabbing some of these TikTok billionaires soon to be, these TikTok followers for TLG Legend being 223 TikTok followers, thousands of them. And then you got EyeGameUWatch at 271,000 TikTok followers. That's some great publicity for our organization and for them as well. So I hope that these guys could, for one, EyeGameUWatch continues to go on his win streak. And the debut of TLG Legend is going to be a good one against a vet inside of the ESFL Word Life.
Absolutely. And speaking of notoriety and all the spotlights, think about we still have to every week we do a fight and night choice at the end of the broadcast. So be on the lookout for that. And then there's always that sweet KO money that you get for every knockout that you get in the contest. So to run everything through with the fight and night and the knockouts, let's take you over some of the rules set. If you're just new here, or if you're like Ruthless Omi, you're just coming around and you just taking a part of our new season. So here's how it goes down. If you we have 16 players going to the regular season. Only the top 8 goes into the playoffs and fights for the illustrious actual title that we have for the undisputed season for the ESFL. Now, 2 points are awarded when you get a win. 1 point if you get a draw, and then an extra bonus point if you get a knockout. So you in total, you have a total of 3 points, which will do hugely in the standings to make it into the top 8. Because Ruthless Omi, we have such a log jam in the upcoming points. I mean, we have Loso tied up with EyeGameUWatch with 6 points, and then there's just a log jam with the 5 points in general. So it's gonna be a lot of tough sledding with people that only have 2 points or just starting out like you saw in the debut that's about to be coming up. There's a lot of things that could be happening in the standings within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, especially while being in this season, there's a new patch, right? So if this is going to shake up the core of what we saw, this opens up a new fighting style for these boxers because now you have to adapt, right? And so you thought this is how the game was going to be played prior to the patch, and now this is how the game is going to be played during the patch. I'm very interested to see how these guys combat, knowing that the game has changed a bit since they first started this season.
Yeah, and you have to think about the mindset a little bit. Just you know, you're dealing with one patch for the first 3 weeks, it might not gone your way, or maybe you've been doing so well with a certain kind of fighter. Now with this new patch, now there's knockouts on the mind. There's more chances to be an inside fighter. What does that go into the mentality of a fighter or someone that's playing in this kind of spot? Say you're like in a top ranking position. What does that go into the mentality of like, okay, now I have to deal with new patch? Are you trying to lab, trying to practice in like ranked or crit play, or trying to spar with other people? Or are you just saying, you know, I'm just going to stick to my game plan here? Omni.
So I mean, if you go into a boxing match and you're like, I'm gonna stick to this one game plan, and you're not so used to adjusting after that game plan, then you're really gonna run into a lot of problems, right? Like, I think a lot of people, hopefully, when this new patch came out, they decided to go on. For me, I'm a ranked guy, true and true. I go on UFC 4, no HUD, random rank the entire time. I love playing against people who are trying to take my head off at any given point, and that also includes Undisputed. So for me, I'm going to go on ranked, and I'm going to try to do my very damnedest to see what are people doing, what is getting people over in these fights. Is it inching here? Is it inching there? Right? Is it body work this time, or is it
Mm-hmm.
straight up about power? Is it those counters that's really going to make it land? So in my perspective, when a new patch comes out, I'm testing. I'm testing with who I'm gonna play with. I'm testing with what is the new ranges, what is the meta, and I'm gonna try to figure that part out. And then afterwards, I'm gonna try to do my damnedest to ensure that I'm landing where I need to land, and doing my own thing.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
man. I'm gonna Omni.
Omni. Okay, we got it. Cause
There you
you
go.
know, sometimes like when we're getting to the things, sometimes like things happen live, and we're gonna make sure you might need to remind me a couple times because it's been
Don't
such
worry
a
about
long time since we've been in the same booth together. But you know what's
it.
super exciting that we're gonna see a whole bunch of new kind of fights along with this patch, along with Fuzz taking a look see, along with you guys in the chat on Twitch and on YouTube, sponsored by the CFESA, which we will talk about a little bit later. But hopefully we get some update of when we're going to be going. We're getting a word in the back. We are actually we're going to go into fight 2, which is going to be K Young Butter versus Game Over. And what do you
Ooh.
have for us in the scouting report that we see in this contest here?
So, for one, I like KM, but just as a person, guy's really good at skateboarding, so it's really cool to get to see that. But as for looking at the scouting report here, you look at Game Over, lost to EyeGameUWatch, that TikTok sensation, as a last second replacement fight, and then in week 2 he beat Word Life into decision. So the real thing is, this guy could be a dark horse to make it into the Elite Eight potentially, and I might have my vote here. But Kayon Buddha is one of those guys that has striking on the brain. That guy is
Mhm.
very good when it comes to UFC and into Undisputed. Unfortunate though, he's had a really rough lineup here since starting. He fought against both of the fighters that are in the main event tonight, Loso and Jobe. Lost by decision to Loso, then got KO'd by Jobe. He then also has a win over Word Life. So even with that hard schedule, the real question is who you both beat Word Life. Now, who can beat each other?
Mhm.
I'm excited to see what comes out of this.
Yeah, absolutely. And these guys are desperate for points right here because they're both sitting at 2 points. They're on a little bit of the outside. They need to full 3 points. Just even make it possibly into the top 8 into the next week. So a lot of things in the play. And I think we just saw like a Terrence Crawford possibly going against actually a Lomachenko. I think this is the first time
Hello,
we're going to
Manchenko.
see Lomachenko into the ESFL Undisputed season. So very interesting that Keon Brothers going with that fighter. What do you expect to see from the defensive side of Crawford going against a Lomachenko who has a little bit more power than Crawford?
Can you switch stances online now? Did they fix that?
Ooh, yes, you
Thank
can
you.
actually. Yes.
All right, cool. So then I think that you for one, you look at the reach advantage from coming from Crawford, and this is going to be one of those things where Kayon Butter is going to want to get in close and try to get a little bit of that inside fighting. Come across, and that was nice. Yeah. And that new diagonal dodge is going to be a real weapon if somebody understands how to use it. I mean, you just saw Kayon Butter throw a little bit there. So I mean, Lomachenko's no joke, man. And
Yeah.
Terrence Crawford's a beast as well. So Who you got on this right now?
Well, I'm going to leave it to the round 4 so we get the copy box predictions. But again, K Young Butter in the red gloves using Lomachenko. And then on the blue side, it's game over. Both guys need massive points to stay in the competition. And already we're seeing a slip in good combinations coming in from game over, trying to put the competition done early and quick. Because the knockout power is going to be there. If he has an opportunity with those power shots with the hooks and getting close, he's already doing such a good job, but he needs to be careful defensively.
Oh, absolutely. He got caught with 3 hooks simultaneously. I am noticing there could be a potential desyncing here. I've seen it about 2 or 3 times, unfortunate. But other than that, look at that. Another hook. He keeps on making K-On! Butter miss when he's going for hooks by either stepping in or stepping just out of range and landing his own. So this is very intriguing. Nice jab off of the break there, that backwards jab. It's one of those things about this boxing game versus like Fight Night or something that you can punch while moving and you can punch in all directions. So I think Terrence Crawford, game over, is doing very nice right now coming into the end of this first round. And again, lands another lead hook to the head of Lomachenko, K.M. Butter.
Yeah, and as we end the first round, you can see the counters working really nicely for game over, able to find his way into his opponent. Already still at 100% in stamina, not really taking much damage health-wise. But for K.M. Butter, what is he going to do into these next couple rounds? Will he adapt his strategy? Will he be like, okay, you're going to be doing these slips. This is new paths. What will he possibly do to answer back? And already off to a bad start. It's game over, able to land some combination keys.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it prior. Those counters and I mentioned prior to that, the reach advantage, that they're really coming in handy right now for game over. And the stamina, what we saw there is just a result of the body shots from K.M. Butter not really landing as flush as you'd like. That's a good body uppercut right there. He's putting some respect when he comes into the pocket, but I think K.M. Butter is getting, only the second round, and we have a full 10 here, but he's getting a little frustrated, and he gets caught with a nice counter left hand again. Oh, that diagonal dodge. Look at that. That was good.
Yeah, it seems like a whole bunch of difference has come into the bye week and onto this week. Game over with a purpose, trying to attack the body now, trying to land the combination. Look, just a slipping over. I feel like that's something that we might need to see throughout this whole event, because maybe this is the new technique that everyone's seeing. Like, okay, I can do the diagonal slip arounds. I can make my way towards the body and just like dig in and cave in a little bit more to drain that stamina. But right now, it seems like he's going to the movement. I wonder if K.M. Butter is trying to find his distance again, because it's so different when it's such a moving target. Because like with those movements, how many times is he gonna do it like back to back? And look at that stamina of game over. He needs to be very careful that he doesn't drain it all, because he still has possibly 7 more rounds to continue with this same type of energy with his striking.
That's a good point. And yeah, I mean, right there, that looks like he's down maybe about 15% just within the second round alone, and maybe that's all because of those major lunges. And that was a very hard glancing right hand that lands flush for Terrence Crawford. That was a hook. That was nasty. And again, he lands it off the break. And this has been the story of the first 2 rounds, right? The getting caught with hooks just out of range with counter shots from game over. And it looks like he was able to recover 4%. So he's now at 91% stamina to 93. I do wish that we could see K-Young Butters as well. I'd be very intrigued to see what his damage is. I'd be very intrigued to see what that is right now.
Yeah, but then it gives you another mindset of like, what is game over thinking? Because he doesn't know. It's the fog of war going against your other opponent. And into round 3, you're going with all these counters and you're able to get the distance. Like, I want to see him use a little bit more of the jab and try to go like branch a little bit. But what's not broken is all those hooks that he's landing on his opponent. Every time K.M. Butter is trying to enter in, it seems like he's just getting hit and he's trying to react to it. He's trying to find his range, but it's just every time. Look at the combinations come from game over. It's working so nicely. It's up to K.M. Butter. What can he do to answer back here?
That was right there, though. That's how you answered back. That was really good there. You saw that. That was amazing. He landed that lead uppercut to the body and countered with the right hand, left hand, I should say, left hook to the head. And now they're just trading counter shots here. Now, here's the thing. You were mentioning something coming from K.M. Butter. I think the biggest thing right now is that he keeps setting his feet far too much, and he's respecting Terrence Crawford, his opponent, Game Over, a little bit too much. I think he needs to keep pushing forward and force Terrence Crawford not to get comfortable planting his own feet. And every time that he goes and he plants his feet, back up. Right? You want to make it so that you're striking your opponent as they move, not as a stationary target. But if you are being a stationary target, you're easier to hit, right? So you got to, if your opponent keeps moving every time you stay stationary, then you got to keep moving and make it so that it's not easy for him to figure it out and time it like this. But he's doing good. I think this is a little bit of a closer round for K-Young-Butta. If I were a betting man, I'd say it's 2-1 as long as nothing big happens toward the end of this round. Game Over up.
Yeah, we'll have to see it with the Copy Box prediction score, say in the 4th round. But what you saw from K-Young-Butta, he's able to answer back. He's learning a little bit more. He's able to get hit, but again, counters coming in. But he's now answering back a little bit. He's able to answer back and trying to find his way back in. I'm liking what he's doing with the body shots and able to just kind of stick and move. Maybe he tries to do a little bit of movement, as you said, not trying to be a stationary target. But if he could be more proactive and try to go his opponent into more striking, maybe he'll have an opportunity. But as you see here, the judges, one judge has it for K-Young-Butta, able to win the 1st round and the 3rd round. So the 2nd round was for Game Over, and Game Over has to be feeling like, I've been using some of the stamina. Sometimes it's not going to be working. I need to change on my strategy here a little bit.
Yeah, potentially. I think that as you were just calling out, right? His his heart rate, he's on a nice active heart rate with his pace. He hasn't he's not throwing too many shots. But I think really what it is that these lunges are taking a lot more of the stamina and potentially those body shots that are coming in there and they're kind of sneaking in shots that I'm not maybe seeing too much. But for the most part here, I'm liking now that K-Young-Butta has established he's circling to the center. Yes, I did. You see he's circling to the center. That's what he's got to continue to do, while also trying to like push forward just a bit. No chasing, but make it so that your opponent wants to come in. Play a good game of chess, I would say.
Yeah, and that's the main thing. It's not like in the UFC where you only have 3 rounds or 5 rounds. This is like a full-out war of 3D chess where you have to outthink your opponent consistently. But with Game Over, what I'm scared about, every time he's going in and trying to attack the body, it's power shots. It's been mostly the majority of power shots trying to land, and sometimes when he misses big, and that gives that stamina draining lower and lower every single time. Well, K-Young-Butta, he's going to his flow, he's working the jab, he's trying to find his distance, he's not exerting as much energy as we go into the final couple of seconds, right around the 35-second mark. I feel like this is the pace where K-Young-Butta is feeling like, okay, if you're going to use a lot of those power punches, I can survive that. I can take it to the body. I just need to wait you out so I could go in for the kill.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. That was beautiful. I think one of the things, yeah, you're welcome. I think one of the things to make note of is that at this point, he just went back and he switched his stance again, put himself inside of orthodox, making that his right hand being the power hand now, and he's in opposite stances, and that's coming from Game Over. So I'm wondering what made him want to switch to this orthodox stance, and I wonder if he's going to start using the lead leg as an advantage and try to step to the outside of that, so that he can start landing off those hooks. As you just saw there, he's now ripping some good combinations off on K-Young-Butta.
Ripping and dipping, that's the name of the game, and you can see K-Young-Butta taking the center of the ring a little bit, but needs to watch out for the left hooks and the body shots landing, because now Game Over is saying, okay, now I'm going to go into my bag and I'm going to try to find a way to get into your system and just trying to knock your head off. Right now, K-Young-Butta still trying to find his distance, but not able to get that close with the hooks. I still want to see a little bit more of the jabs, and the power shot not really missing, but gets hit with a body uppercut for his troubles.
Another one.
I feel like every time it's going to an inside fight, it seems more in favor of Game Over, but Game Over not really doing as many slips left or right as much. Damn. It seems like he's standing straight at his opponent and saying, okay, I'm just going to go in or out. I'm just going to stay on a vertical line against his opponent.
Yeah, when he engages, what ends up happening is K-Young-Butta he remains right in front of him, and he plays more of an inside dirty boxing game. And I like the way he just did there. He did a back jab, a back stepping jab, and then he landed his own combination right there. He almost landed a counter off of that, and now they're really playing and fighting on the inside a lot. And And this is interesting because he's using Terrence Crawford inside of loose footwork stance, but he is doing inside fighting quite a bit here. I think he should try to, if you're going to use that stance, try to play on the outside a little bit more. And I like now that he is starting to do that. And he switches his stance again at the last 10 seconds. So I'm wondering if that's going to help. Look at that. Throws off K-Young Butter and lands a good combination to end the round. That might have been a good win, a round stealer, potentially.
Yeah, that has to be like some mental warfare. You just switch, and then you're able to land that vicious counter while your opponent is trying to do a power shot. That has to be demoralizing for K-Young Butter. But K-Young Butter still in the fight. We'll have to see in the next round what the Company Box prediction scores will say. But so far, we're liking what we're seeing from Game Over. Game Over is able to land these combinations, able to land the hooks and the uppercuts as much as he wants. But K-Young Butter, what can he do? What can he find a way to get back into this contest? Because right now, taking the center of the ring, trying to do-si-do with his opponent, not really cutting off the ring per se, but trying to go inside, maybe disrupt the timing of Game Over. But so far, he's still getting hit with the counters with straight.
Yeah, and what I'm liking now is that King Butter is starting to get a little bit more patient. But you can kind of see by the way that he's moving, he looks just potentially a little bit frustrated. He keeps getting caught with these longer shots. That was a little bit of a desync there, if you notice, around the feet. So I hope that doesn't come into too much of play in this match. But I digress. As you can see, he's trying not to chase, and he's moving laterally left and right, and he's just continuously owning his center. And now Game Over trying to bait him into chasing him. And that's frustrating. That's really frustrating to fight somebody like that. So what do? Well, I mean, you start throwing them hooks and you try to cut them off. And as they circle, as you can see, circling to the left, you throw a nice hook, or you do that. And then you keep them where you want them. And then you start to break down their body and slow them down. Start hitting them with that stamina. And that was nasty. That was a really good stepping hook. And he steps right into the pocket there. But that defense of Crawford seems to hold up very well. So, yeah, I think this is frustrating for K-Young Butter for sure. I would be frustrated in this situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And you saw just like defense. Oh my goodness, and punches coming out, but the stamina's low with 5 seconds left going into the 7th round. But one thing I love what I saw from Game Over is that when his opponent missed out, well, actually he missed out on a power shot, but his opponent tried to go into a vicious combination and he wasn't able to get it. And as you see the Company Box prediction score, this is very even on the judges scorecard. 57-57. I think Game Over won that last round. So what they're seeing from Game Over is that his defensive and his offensive abilities have been working so far. And you can see he's gaining a little bit of momentum trying to find that range. I like what he's doing with the range because not only is he lunging back or moving forward, he's able to capitalize and make his opponent just whiffed or attack his blocking. He's not really getting hit as much. And as soon as I say that, he gets hit with a vicious straight.
Yeah, he threw a power jab there, and potentially that might be something he's going to want to continue to do to stifle Terrence Crawford as he's coming forward and coming back, and he throws another power straight jab there, and he lands it. And I like what I'm seeing from K-Young Butter. He's making a pretty good adjustment, and he's starting to throw these jabs, and he just landed a nice inside left hand, and he throws it again, and a good counter uppercut to the body there from K-Young Butter, and he backs out. Very nice job. Very good job there.
Yeah, excellent job so far, and he needs to continue that because this is all about the 2 points. If you get the 2 points, you're back in the regular season standings and maybe contend for the playoffs. But right now, Game Over is answering back with some hooks, trying to fight all his might with 1 minute left in the 7th round. 3 more rounds after this one, and already finding the phone booth, trying to find their way, and then lunges back and forth, trying to attack the body. Game Over, getting the advantage, and now it seems like we're going more into a route where they're going more willy-nilly with their punches right here. But a nice second to an uppercut right there. Ruthless, it's getting a little bit ruthless in there.
Yeah, it's certainly getting pretty ruthless and rowdy, I'd say. And you see a ton of different counters coming out of these, in between these exchanges. That looked like a labor left hand if I ever saw one coming out of K-Young Butter's side. So that was a pretty telling left hand shot that he threw. And this is the end of the 7th round. This is definitely a very close fight so far. Both gentlemen are leaving it all on the line and throwing a ton of counters, a flurry of combinations with a lot of those hooks and a lot of uppercuts landing successfully. I do like what I'm starting to see, that nice jab coming from KM Butter. Hopefully he continues to do that. And then just that, it's such a nice subtle thing Game Over's doing with that back-stepping jab, and just to create some distance and range. But now, if you've noticed, he's turned off his loose footwork. And that's something I was commenting on early. So I wonder what his mindset is if he's trying to brawl now in the pocket to end these last 2 to 3 rounds,
Yeah,
8 to
and you
9,
have
10.
and you have to think also, along with like getting rid of the loose and going back to a more standard position of boxing.
Ooh.
Does he have enough power to withstand a trade? Can he go in these situations and go for these hooks? Because look, as soon as he goes for a left hook to the body, that drains a lot of stamina out. So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. But every single round counts. And KO Butter, he's been consistent throughout, right? He in the beginning he's been hitting a bunch with the counters, but now he's able to answer back, ramp it up a little bit more. Can he continue on to a great crescendo and possibly get a knockdown? Because that's going to be huge if he wants to extra point and get the bonus 3 points to make it into 5 points. But we'll have to see as we're approaching the 1 minute mark here, Royszn.
Yeah, that does remain. Yeah, who wants it more at this point, right? But what I'm noticing, that was a really good counter. A really good counter left hand coming from KM Butter. But what I'm noticing here at this point is that they are very comfortable right now to make this a rock'em sock'em fight and just standing in front of each other and trading within the pocket. So I'm curious on who that favors more. I'm not familiar with Lomachenko's perks. I don't know if you are, but when I was watching prior, Terrence Crawford had a really decent perk, but one of them he couldn't even use, which was the switch stance. So now that he can, I mean, doing this and throwing your opponent off and switching back and forth from orthodox and southpaw has been a really decent strategy coming from Game Over as well throughout this fight, man. So I don't know, man. This is so close to call.
Yeah, very close to call. And we're getting hearing in the back that it's all damaging on slips. Like he gets some more attacking power. So we'll have to see if that was more of the game plan that he had in this contest so far. But he has 2 more rounds to seal the deal with using the Terrence Crawford. But right now, KO Butter, he's still in this contest. He's able to land that right hook, trying to go into his point, trying to go for some power, not able to get the full effect of it. But right now, again, back into the phone booth, center of the ring, not really much do-si-doing around, trying to work onto the outside. It's more stand to your opponent's face, trying to find your avenues and try to strike. And so far, so good. And you can see it just the matter of the range game for both these guys. One little mistake, and that could be proven to be the biggest difference here.
That's right, man. Here's one thing, too, to make note of. He landed, and I mean KM Butter, he landed 2 solid right hands to the body, 2 right hooks to the body, and he just hasn't gone back to it. That was a good right uppercut to the body. He threw 2 and landed those. And I think that he would find more success if when he lands those shots, starting to feint, like, oh, I'm going to do this, and then throwing something else. I think KM Butter, I haven't really seen many feints from either of them, but I think KM Butter, if he starts to take advantage of knowing that the opening is there, it'll be pretty good. But right now, he hasn't thrown anything in the last 20 seconds. I stand corrected. There you go.
Yeah, it's just come to his curse right there. He was able to land, but what did we saw before that big land? Game Over was able to land body, jab, into a straight, and he was able to land these combinations. So far, Game Over, even though he's getting hit to the body, he's able to land some combinations. And with 10 seconds left, this is going to be big on who capitalizes on the point with a nice counter from Game Over, able to land some. And as we go to the copy box prediction scores, Ruthless, I don't even know how you got this scorecard, but I feel like it might be tied.
It's definitely really close to a potential draw, and as we come ahead, CompuBot has Lomachenko up. I think that there are definitely good moments from KM Butter within these rounds, but I'm not sure, man. I'm seeing a different story here. Game Over has been landing some good shots like that. A nice combination of body uppercuts there when he was in the pocket. And potentially the last 2 rounds, KM Butter has been a lot more defensive, and he's been landing more successfully. And we're seeing a lot of shots just land on his block. But that is what I like. You see that he stayed out of range. Good counter shot there from Game Over. But he stayed out of range, and he made him pay for that. He's got to continue to do stuff like that coming into the closing minute and a half of this fight.
Yeah, and it's going to be closing very soon. Game Over needs a round back because you never know what the other two judges are going to score this whole fight. It could possibly be a draw. That's the opportunity you can see here. But so much damage done, using a lot of stamina in the beginning, early rounds. Now with like barely half of his stamina left, let's see what he can put onto his opponent. We saw a little bit of counters going on the side and good hooks coming from Game Over, but King Butter is trying to answer back with 1 minute left, able to duck away from his opponent, able to try to go into some striking, but so far not really land. Oh, good counters into the body, trying to land some combinations to the face, not able to fully get it, but Game Over kind of staying a little bit back. Would you want him to be a little bit more aggressive, knowing that he's kind of around down with 30 seconds to go?
Yeah, I mean, CompuBot, that right there tells you if you really need to keep pushing a little harder. I think that he would do better if he'd move forward and use a bit of the power of Terrence Crawford.
10 seconds.
Just need to try to find an opening to land. Last 5.
Yeah, and here we go. Final seconds, and we will go into the judge's decision. Young Bar was up in the predictions. Will he get the deal? No, it's a draw! Oh,
wow,
God.
You called it. No way. No way, man.
Crawford, Game Over, was able to win that last round, and the judges' scorecards and the CompuBox predictions will have to get the full scorecard. But that's their first draw in the first ever fight of our contest. And you can see majority decision. One judge has it 96-94, and the rest of the judges win 95-95. So very interesting to see. I saw in the CompuBox prediction scores that it went back and forth. Every single round didn't have a consistent winner except the first judge that had the rounds 2, 3, and 4 for Game Over. So for Game Over, you have to feel like, man, I just lost an opportunity because both guys are now sitting at 3 points there.
Yeah, that was a majority draw toward Crawford, but same thing that happened with Tyron Woodley versus Stephen Thompson in the first fight they had. That goes nowhere. It goes nowhere, man. So, like, here's the thing. That first of all, awesome fight between both of these guys. One thing that I was noticing, and it was something that we get to see here within the stats, the body shot attempts that were coming from K.M. Butter were not being very successful. And I think if he was able to land a little bit more, it would have broke down that stamina and slowed down Game Over a lot earlier. Unfortunate that if that was the case. Here's a question for you guys: is there a venue limit, like certain venues we cannot go to?
I think we have talked about it before, but I don't think there is one specifically. I know there's one at the gym where it goes like swirling around. We don't do the gym at all, so I think that's the only exclusion. But I know they, along with the new pass, they implement 2 new venues, so hopefully we get to see that in play because I know those venues look really sick in the Undisputed game. But so far, both great job by both competitors, both sitting at 3 points. It's going to be a little bit tough sledding with the next 3 weeks being a crunch time for both those competitors to be in the top 8 because only top 8 goes in and there's 60 fighters. Half of y'all got to go. But speaking of going back into the beginning, we skipped over one fight. Now we're going to the beginning and going to JMMA going against Woke Sportsman, which both of these guys desperately need to get some points to stay in this competition here, Omni.
Oh yeah, man. And taking a look at these, taking a look at the tail of the tape for both of these guys, you know, obviously you look a huge comeback win came from JMMA in this week 1 in a decision victory over Pablo Grips. But then he lost to, again, another guy in the main event, Loso. So the woke sports fan, so both of these guys are coming into this fight off of losses. The woke sports fan has 2 losses right away, didn't fight in the 3rd week, and he's looking to beat JMMA up. JMMA, of course, a part of Pryoxis' Toon Squad camp, which, by the way, Space Jam, that's a pretty good, that was a pretty damn good movie.
That's
even
best cinema, the best movie of all time. I got something like that is
of all time.
Cinema right there. Space Jam. The soundtrack was amazing. I just got to put my 2 cents to continue.
That's it, man. I ain't got nothing else to say.
Oh, you got nothing to say. Listen, Space Jam is the greatest movie. What's going to be great is that this one is going to be the second best movie that we're going to see because this matchup is peak cinema right here. JMMA, he's on 3 points while the woke sports fan, he is an underdog. He is fighting for his season life. He is 0-2. He hasn't been able to find a chance to have the opportunity to get the first ever victory in the regular season. But going into the fire selection, you can see a Ryan Garcia versus a Lomachenko. We saw Lomachenko going before. He's very well versatile. He might be the new meta pick in the ESFL for Undisputed. We'll have to see. But Ryan Garcia, we know that he's all about the business in the boxing ring. So for the woke sportsman to trust his whole entire regular season life into Ryan Garcia, that's to be a very big endorsement for him to go in this contest.
I mean, Ryan Garcia. Yeah, Ryan Garcia, man, that was crazy. Him getting knocked out in real life there with that nasty body hook. That's oof, that was rough. But you know what? Going against a legend like Lomachenko, this is a pretty cool matchup. Like to see it. I'm excited. The woke sports fan, you are right, is putting his entire season in the ESFL Undisputed League on the line against JMMA, and his choice is Ryan Garcia. That's an interesting pick. I've heard a few people back in the beginning who said Ryan Garcia is their favorite pick to play online and ranked. Pride said that at one point. So he's definitely good. He's got a good mix in his arsenal. And this is going to be an interesting fight. As we learned, Lomachenko's perks, and those a lot of those are counters, a lot of those are slip bonuses. So let's see how he matches up against a guy who has a really good cardio and can set a pretty high pace.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll have to see how this whole fight goes. And again, if you guys think you know who the winner is going to be sure to be on our Twitch chat and put your predictions and, bet your channel points. See, be a part of the interaction along with us. Be a part of the ESFL along with our Discord and all our social media channels and our YouTube archives as well. But be sure to have a lot of fun in the chat because this fight is going to be really exciting. We know that JMMA, a huge comeback win. We talked about it. Well, going with Lomachenko fighter, that's kind of different than what he did before because I think he didn't really use them before. I don't think I've seen any tape of him using it in like actual competition before. So be really interesting to see what he uses in this strategy going against a woke sportsman who is 0-2.
There had to be a reason why he decided to pick Lomachenko. So potentially it is to utilize and brutalize his opponent using those perks, or he thought about it and said he's one of the newer fighters that were introduced, a newer boxer that was introduced in this game, and he had faith that this is going to be the way to win. Either way, it had to come down to I want to win, so he picked that guy. I'm
Yeah,
very curious to see how this turns out for him, and hopefully he made the right choice.
yeah, and that kind of goes into the mindset as we're still waiting on our next contest. Again, we are still live.
Of course.
We are hopefully gonna get that soon, ready to go. But talking about the fighter selection, we talked about the new fighters coming in, like Lomachenko. He was not a part of the original roster for this undisputed game. What do you think that goes into play of like using an original fighter or going with someone new? Are you more prone because you saw like, oh, it's a new shiny toy, let me try to figure him out? Would you try to use that in competition, or would you try to go more into your tried and true and see if you could use more strategies with like an original fighter?
Well, I'll tell you this. I'm definitely a guy that likes new things. So when a
Okay.
new fighter comes out, I want to use them. Same with UFC 4 to this game as well. So yeah, I'm gonna go with trying to using a new fighter over trying to go and pick somebody that we already know. Also, I'm going to probably have an advantage by picking a fighter that it just came out that was new. And if I can learn them quickly, you decide to pick a fighter that's been here the whole time. But I picked the new fighter. You have to get adjusted to my perks. And if you haven't paid attention to the new guy, then you're a step behind. So it's important to make sure that you're a step ahead. I mean, you look at Mortal Kombat, you look at uh, Tekken, and all these other things like Street Fighter 6. A new fighter comes out, and every top player understands that that new fighter, I need to know what that person does and what their weaknesses are right away so that I can combat them aggressively and put on a good competitive showing with them.
You just gave me deja vu because I have been playing Street Fighter 6 and I've been using Ryu, and I always get beat by those new damn characters like Kimberly. Screw Kimberly. If you play Kimberly, you're dead to me. Okay, I have
Screw
too
him, man.
many nightmares about that character, but you know,
Is
like
Kimberly the big one? She's like the
no,
gladiator.
she's the small one that has like the two like weapons in her hand. She's like
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. She's like really good in the game, and I just absolutely hate her. She's like if I use Clay Guida and now they're using like Dustin Poirier or like Khabib, like it's just dumb. It's a 0-10 matchup for
I
me.
mean,
But oh, go ahead.
I'll tell you what, Mamon to me is ridiculous. Man, Mom
Oh,
is good. She
just
gets
grapple
stronger as
heavy.
she slams you. Grapple heavy, she gets stronger as she gets closer. I use Luke.
Oh,
I don't know how I don't yeah, Luke is woof, I love using him. And I got a coworker of mine who's really big into Street Fighter 6, so he talks to me about this constantly. Constantly. And they haven't and here's another interesting thing. Even though the Ryan Garcia fight happened prior to this updated patch, they have
mhm.
not updated his win-loss record to show that he
Ooh.
has that one loss. So that was something that they said that they were going to do with the release of this game. I'm curious as to if that was just a little oversight or if they are going to go through and update Ryan Garcia's perks and stats. They might lower down his body health after that fight in real life. So Ryan Garcia and Lomachenko going at it head to head here. This is a good one. I like this venue too. This is cool. I don't know if I've seen this before. I think this is one of the newer ones.
Yeah, it seems relatively new. I don't think I've seen the original when I was like playing the game, but I love the fact that well, we know that some other fighters got like a patch like Deontay Wilder. He's all about power. And he got his stats
Yeah,
buffed. So what is
finally.
yeah, you would think, right? It's just like what Muhammad Ali was like crazy overpowered in Tyson Fury. That was a whole thing in the heavyweight. Hopefully, we get to see some heavyweights later on, but we are focusing on the here and now. And again, JMMA is in the blue corner on the right using Lomachenko, and on the left side, it's a woke sports fan using Ryan Garcia on the red side. And right now, we're seeing a little bit of a different pace than what we saw in the first fight, a little bit more of a filling out process and an ongoing seconds, trying to use that straight a little bit. I want to see who uses the jabs to try to use like a branching story with their combinations. Are they going to go like with a jab hook or a jab uppercut? What is the movement we're going to see someone take advantage of the jabs a little bit more?
I'm seeing we're definitely seeing a lot of jabs come from the woke sportsman. This guy throwing a lot of jabs, a lot of straights. He's doing it whenever he gets close. Look at that. And he just got popped again for his misdeeds. So says JMMA. I want to give a shout out to JMMA. The man's been grinding for years. Has been doing this as long as I've, probably even longer, as to the point where I was streaming. And he's got 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. Go give that guy a subscribe on YouTube if you're interested in seeing some really high quality gameplay and some really good commentary. He's got a good voice. Back over to the actual fight now. The sports fan, the woke sports fan, that's what his
Mm-hmm.
name is. All right,
Yes.
cool. Yeah, he's getting the crap beat out of him because he just got punched in the face about 3 times. And he is just walking away and running at this point, and only trying to throw jabs and straights. And now he got countered again to the body. So JMMA is playing this really, really well, keeping his hands down and not chasing,
Ooh.
but is cracking him with counters. And I think this is just the beginning of the entire story and the difference between the skill gap of the woke one and JMMA here.
The woke one. Hopefully we'll get to see a little bit more of an adaptation going to the second rounds. But again, as you said, JMMA having his way, getting the hooks, getting the counters, getting the body shots as much as you want possible. But again, there's 9 more rounds to play with, right? So with a good start, you need to have a good finish. So hopefully JMMA, he can keep up the consistency to get the victory or possibly another knockout victory and possibly move on further into the regular standings. But woke sports fan still has a lot to do. We'll have to see in this time when he sees his opponent just hit him with barrages of punches. What can he possibly do? If you see JMMA do all these power shots, what is your mindset going to the second round right here?
I would play a little bit of chess, and as you spoke about it before, I want to use that Ryan Garcia reach and speed. And it's all right. He actually tried to throw a power straight right there on his own. So I want to throw things like I want to throw like a lead hook to the top and a lead hook to the body. I'm gonna back out, maybe throw a body straight at you, and I'm gonna just continuously make you miss. I'm gonna make you think I'm gonna stand here, and then I'm gonna back out. But what we're seeing here is that the woke sports fan,
Ooh.
and that was a good counter left hand right there. I mean, and that's a different mix-up. Perhaps the first round he was just trying to get a feel for his opponent. That's definitely possible.
Now,
But
could it be
that's good.
sorry to cut you off, but
You're
like,
good.
could
Go
it
ahead.
be a viable strategy to try to like play like a little bit of a turtle shell in the beginning rounds, like try to see if you could drain your opponent's stamina, like make him go for these power shots and try to like take him over against like in the
Nice.
later part of the rounds, like maybe like 6 through 10. Now you go for it because you only have to win like 5 or 6 rounds to fully get
Oh
a
yeah.
decisive victory. Do you think that's a viable strategy that you could
Yeah,
implement?
I mean, absolutely, you can. Look at this. I mean, he's really just trying to find his range, and that was a really good counter jab right there. And he landed 3 shots consecutively on JMMA. Actually put himself and loose footwork. That was a nasty right hand coming from JMMA. So yeah, that's a valuable option if you understand your opponent is going to throw themselves tired potentially, and you're able to land counter body shots to drain their stamina and to land some good damage on them and frustrate them. But the problem is, ooh, that was a nasty combination from JMMA. He broke the block and he landed an uppercut at the end there. But the problem is that you do fall behind. So it's valuable if you understand and your goal is to pick up the pace later on, but at first you're trying to have a slow start. That's rather normal. You see that in UFC and their 5-round fights as well from time to time, and sometimes people like to put up the pace later on.
Yeah, absolutely. But what we saw from JMA, he was able to get some good strikes. But one thing we saw from Woke Sports Fan, he started to turn it up a little bit. Like we went to like a low heat, and now we're going to like a mild flame. He was able to get like a nice double jab into a straight, possibly, and he was working the backside straights a little bit. We'll have to see in this third round. Can he turn up the heat? Can he turn up the pressure a little bit more against JMA? Because right there, that straight
Ooh.
right there, that's money. That will do some damage onto his opponent. But JMA, we know that he's no slouch. We know that he's about the combat life and knows how this game
Wow.
works inside and out. So it's up to him.
Oh.
What can you do to answer back? And all right, he's answered back with a little bit stuff of his own. But every time he goes in, it seems like whoever comes in, they're getting hit automatically with some strikes. So I want to see who's going to be the more proactive, like actually jump into the phone booth and actually start swinging.
Well, I would like to see JMM at this point, right? I've seen a lot more counter shots come from the Woke Sports Fan, and I mean, I was
Ooh.
joking around a little bit in the beginning where he was getting. See again, look at that. He's throwing this straight as JMMA is coming in. I think he's frustrating him a bit. I would like to see JMMA switch his footwork back to a regular standard one. I understand he's loose right now. I'm just trying to keep up with him. But instead of going forward as he is aggressively, and he just switched his stance. That's an interesting move. Potentially, he's seeing something that we're not, and he's realizing something about his opponent. But
Ooh.
those were really solid shots there, Kingsley. I mean, what do you do when your opponent was running away and just landing straight shots there on the outside? Well, I guess this is one of those things you can do, and that's you chase them and you switch your stance and you try to throw them off balance and get them guessing.
Well, that's the 2 point problem, right? Like to get those 2 points, you need to figure out a way to find the solution to this equation. Because if your opponent is going to keep on doing this, what can you possibly do? Try to cut off the ring? Do you try to fight? Do you try to take like at least 1 or 2 punches to send 3 to your opponent? And with 15 seconds left into the third round, right here, we'll have to see how the Company Bucks prediction scores are going to see it into the fourth round. But so far, JMA, he feels comfortable. He's not going to attack anymore. We'll have to see how the game plan changes a little bit. But right now, if I'm Woke Sports Fan, you did your dirt. You were finding your avenues for succession.
Ooh.
Can you do it a little bit more? With JMA, I say keep doing what you're doing. Attack your opponent. Go into him. But, maybe try to delay the timing of your strikes a little bit more to find the avenue so you can land that power hook. So you can land that body shot onto your opponent's ribs. We'll have to figure out because right now his health is a little bit lower than his stamina, but the stamina is a good pace where he can keep up this action throughout these oncoming rounds.
Yeah, I mean that is a pretty good 97 stamina in the third round is or fourth round is fantastic. The damage is at 15%. He's at 85% at this point. So yeah, that was what I was kind of worried about. Because really what I started thinking about this at the end there. When JMMA was doing what he's doing now, which is he doesn't want to chase. So he's starting to stand still and he's making it so that Woke Sports Fan has to go into him. And that was good. Now he's chasing again, but the difference is that woke sports fan is landing more of the shots that he's actually throwing.
Right.
So his accuracy is really, I think, what's winning him the fight. And plus, he's landing good counter shots as well.
Now,
Oh, that
do
was
you
a nice left hand.
Now, do you think, because I know, like, I don't know if I have like a little theory about this, but I think the judges don't take into account, as we see both backs and forth counters back to back from both fighters in that situation. I feel like the body shots don't count as much as when you're attacking the head. I feel like the judges don't really score that as much because we see JMMA dig into the body and it's working really well, but we see Woke Sportsman able to land more onto the head and work that head a little bit more. Because sure, he's attacking the body, but the majority of his shots are too straight to the head and it creates that swelling. Well, you see JMMA, he's chasing a little bit more. He's attacking more to the head, but how many is this going to work? Because now it's going to the block. Maybe he's avoiding the reach a little bit more. It's going to be very complicated. As you see a vicious trade coming from the Woke Sportsman, and with the 3 rounds up on one judge's scorecard, that has to be a lot of confidence, a lot of momentum going into these next couple of sequences of actions.
Yeah. So you're mentioning something about the body shots coming across from JMMA, and now a lot of the time I'm seeing him throw good shots to hands, to the head. But he's like you just saw there. He just landed 2 counter shots in a row, which is good. This is what he kind of needs. The thing is, I don't think he's landing as many body shots as he's thrown either, and I'm not so sure if the judges think of it differently from a damage output in this game. I know there are many different judges and they all look at something in a different way, which is one of the coolest things I've seen in a boxing video game.
Oh, absolutely.
But when I've been watching this fight from my perspective, I would say that when he's going for those body shots, other than what you were seeing toward the end there, a lot of them are missing, and they're missing because the woke sports fan is backstepping. And he's backstepping a lot to get out of the range of those hooks to the body that are being thrown. So it's really a tale of, cat and mouse, where you got the woke sports fan staying on the back foot, trying to engage with JMMA as he's coming in pocket. You saw them throw some strikes there and try to throw him off balance. And then the shots, that was... Wow, we're talking like what, season 1 there? You throw like
just a constant. Yeah, but one other thing that's like add on to that caveat, we see JMMA while we were in between rounds, the right 1 bar of the right cut was landing on JMMA, so he has to watch out for the cuts a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know what this guy's doing. He's throwing just a lot of the same right hand over and over again. He did that a few times.
So like when you see someone like landing that like consistent strike, do you just try to like stay within your game plan, or do you try to like adapt a little bit more? Because sometimes like you try like I feel like sometimes fighters get in their own head like, okay, you're just doing that. I could do so many other things and I gotta hit you a lot more, so you don't really pay attention to it. Do you think he focuses on that, or does he just stick to his game plan?
It can throw your psyche off if you think somebody is doing something that's so simple you should be able to get away from it. So that might throw your game plan off just because you're questioning it. One thing I'll say about this whole scenario is that if I were in the shoes of JMMA and somebody is throwing a shot consistently and it's landing, well, I'm going to adapt. I'm going to block where he's throwing. Or if I know, damn, that was a really good combination from JMMA. I didn't want to continue what I was saying before. Open.
There's a ghost in the building. I don't know what happened there, but apparently we saw JMMA get rocked in that situation. And Woke Sportsman is trying to take advantage. But right now, JMMA says, I'm not going to have it. It's end of the round, but that's very unfortunate for JMMA.
That, yeah, he might be taking a dive. I mean, the thing is that's very interesting. You see a cut is forming on the right side. He walked into the power jab, and he did it after a little bit of a flurry. His stamina was not so low, but that's what I saw. I think that's what got him rocked there. He got caught by a jab. It wasn't even. It wasn't even it's, you know what? Anderson Silva famously beat the crap out of Forrest Griffin and knocked him down with a jab. So, don't underestimate a well-timed shot.
Yeah, a well-timed shot and a cut opening up on the right side. So that could also be a factor because we know the jabs are going to be on
Oof,
that side. And you can see the counters are landing. So as much as stamina that you're going to be
damn.
using at these strikes in these trades, you need to be very careful of these situations. And we saw uppercut right there, but nice counter body shot from JMA. You can see JMA is just surrounding his opponent. He's trying to suffocate him so much that he wants to be in his face and go in for a fight. But every single time, Wilkes Sports Fan is finding a way to get out of it, or at least create some distance that he like absolutely needs. So it's up to JMA. What can you do? He's landing the hooks. He's trying to land the bite, but able to get out and gets hit with a straight and excuse me, a jab. And that segment was so low for JMA.
Yeah, I really like the power hooks that he's throwing to the body as as Woke Spokes Fan continues to dip and do that dashing lunge. What is it? Dashing side, the diagonal sidestepping
Yeah,
or
diagonal
diagonal
side
movement.
step, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Every time he's doing that, he's been caught with a counter shot to put him back in his place. As what would I say? JMMA's trying to put Baby in the corner, but Baby don't want to go in the corner. So he's been doing pretty well right now to make sure that he don't go in the corner. Like, look at that. He's circling back into the center and he's just making JMMA stay in his face. But that was a really good two left hands, two hooks to the face, and they land. His left hook is nasty, mighty coming from JMMA, and he's having a lot of success with that. I'm shocked that he switched his stance. I wonder what the thought process about that is. And he, again, throwing the left hand. Look at the redness coming off of the face of Ryan Garcia right now. Hopefully they'll show the other fighter here. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Man, that's an accumulated damage. He's swelling up pretty bad.
Yeah, you could call him the reverse Braveheart, but right now you see JMMA, he's trying to do some dirty dancing against his opponent, trying to get into the phone booth, trying to work the hook so many times against his opponent, and it's very much showing. But he still needs to watch out because every time he trades, and if he makes a mistake, then it cause a little bit of concern. But right there, 3 rounds to the Hulk Sports Fan, 3 rounds to JMMA. He's starting to turn it up a little bit more, and now it's up to round 7. What can JMMA MMA do to make it a consistent fourth victory or round victory, excuse me, in this situation? Because right now, Wilkes Sports Fan, he sees that it's like, okay, my lead is gone. Do I keep continuing doing the same thing? Can I find a way? Because now he's getting hit with some hooks. He's getting hit with so many things. And the power shots, even though he makes a miss, now he needs to capitalize because I feel like he's just waiting on his right opportunity. And so many opportunities are so fleeting in these kind of fights.
I think he's really confused, the woke sports fan right now regarding the footwork. And I think that what's happening is he's keeping his hands down, just trying to find where he's like, okay, JMA's coming in here. Well, he's coming in there, and this is good, right? What he's doing at the moment, woke spokesman, was good. It was decent before he just got cracked yet again with a bunch of left hand hooks, which is amazing. This is exactly what JMMA needs to do. You ask, what does he need to do to win this next round coming up, the one we're in and beyond? It's exactly this. He's been cutting off his opponent. He understands how his opponent's pattern of footwork as he sees. He recognizes he's going to circle back into the center, and he's capitalizing on that and landing counter shots to intercept his opponent. He's landed consistently in this round roughly 11 hooks already, and this is of sped up time when it comes to these rounds. And again, he lands another one. So I mean, he's really accumulating a lot of damage on the right side of Ryan Garcia here. So if he continues to keep this pace up, he might not only win this by, a decision, but he could knock out Ryan Garcia here. He really needs to keep to his game plan.
Another little tidbit with 10 seconds left in the round, we saw on the lower right side next to Lomachenko's name that he has now 2 bars on the right side of the cut. So that cut has opened up a little bit more. So still need to be very careful about his situations because you see there swelling both on the left and right side, still a little bit high, but two bars already filling up with Woke Sports Fan doing a little bit of the backstab. It could still play in a factor. I love what we saw from JMMA. As you said, he's been doing so well. The game plan's been working so well. I feel like he won that last round, but now it's up to him. Can he play defensively while he's going offensively? I know that seems like a lot or very confusing, but a good offense is the best defense, and you want to be available in this fight. You don't want the doctor to go in and try to stop the fight and say that cut's too bad.
Yeah, you don't want that at all. I've had that happen within like the first day of me playing.
Straight.
Now he's attacking the body, and now he's pushing forward. That was blah, blah, blah. I don't know what the hell I was trying to say. Anyway,
No,
he was
it
pushing
just
forward
left you
there.
speechless a little bit because that was an amazing straight to the face of JMMA. And JMMA is trying to do all his best with 2 minutes left in this round to enter back to run this round back. But that has to be so deflating. Oh, but a vicious right landing onto the face of Ryan Garcia. And with all the stamina, all the heart in JMA, he is trying to surround his opponent with some strikes, but not very close. As we see, Woke Sportsman able to get out, but 130 left. There's still plenty of time here.
Oh my God, the damage accumulation for both of them has piled up tremendously. And I really like what the Woke Spokesfan's doing right here is getting on the gas and getting on his bike and getting away, as some people would show in that one. But anyway, Fight Night Champion. The point being is that he is getting on his bicycle and he's backing up right now and he's trying to ride away as fast as he can. Yeah, he's putting baby in the corner again. But look at this. He's not out of this so much yet. He knows that he has been able to rock Lomachenko here prior to getting rocked himself. Don't get discouraged now. This is round 8. You want to get this dub. You're going to want to crack him again and land what was successful, Woke Sports Fan. It's such a long name. Anyway, so... he wants to do that again, and he really needs to make sure he's not a stationary target for that power hooks, as you just saw there. He tried to land it again to the top. And one thing we haven't talked about is the stamina right now on JMMA. That is at 59%.
Yeah, and that's gonna be big because I think we only have 2 more rounds. I think we're going to the 8th round, so that's gonna be huge. Because the only reason he got that rock is because he landed a vicious, well-timed power hook onto his opponent. Well, Ryan Garcia, we don't know what his stamina is. We don't know what his health is, but it has to be pretty low. I feel like with the KO point and the KO bounty being very close, there's a very real opportunity that one of these guys could get the maximum 3 points in the regular season to boost their statter. But again, trapped in the corner that Woke Sports Fan is, he able to get the counter. But every time in this trade, can he find a right maneuver where he could diagonal slip in or out or lunge back to get the right timing shot to get a rock? Because that's going to be the biggest move. But a nice 1-2 from JMMA, trying to enter back, trying to attack the body, trying to limit the movement of Woke Sports Fan, but not able to get it. But nice hooks coming in. It just seems like he's just surrounding him every single time, trying to get these hooks in.
Oh my God, he just keeps landing that left hand consecutively. Good straight there. And he lands his own left hand, and he needs to move forward and really understand how much trouble that he has JMMA in right now.
Yeah, and
I would not let up.
And another thing, one key point, along with the cuts, the blockage was low, and the rock was hit perfectly as Woke Sportsman is now trying to fight in. He's trying to come in, but it's halfway through. The blockage has been low, so many times that Woke Sportsman has been landing punches. He's been disrupting that blockage. Now it's up. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Do you risk the head? Do you risk it with a little bit of time? Said, bring it on. JMMA does, but with 1 minute to go in this 8th round, let's see who has the mentality, who has the wherewithal to take it. And already punches and bunches, hooks coming in, but so low the stamina for JMMA. Woke Sportsman is trying to enter back, playing a little bit on the outside, trying to land some combinations, not able to get it. Nice hook landing, but how much stamina is that taking over from JMMA?
Oh man.
Look at that. And that was exactly what I was about to mention here. This is a problem where you get your opponent rocked, but then immediately within the same round, you get rocked yourself because you're being too greedy. You still need to be defensive. You know you're hurt yourself. But the thing is what would really benefit the Woke Sports Fan right now is when he gets JMMA rocked. This is coming up to the final round, by the way. If you get JMMA rocked, you need to get him knocked down. That could be the one thing that saves this fight. But you and I do not know how CompuBot or these judges saw the last 2 rounds.
True.
And those rocks could have been significant. And this could be another draw. And by the way, if there are 2 draws, in a row,
don't say that.
I don't know.
Don't say that.
Because
here's the thing.
We're supposed to make knockouts, but instead we're getting draws.
You know, the funniest thing, every single card that I commentated has at least one draw. Let's not make this two draws. As you see, JMMA has taken the lead in the CopyBlock's prediction scores, 86 to 85. Woke Sportsman
Weird.
has one more round to make it back in. He needs another round, possibly a 10-8 round if he gets a knockdown. But right now, JMMA, he is not laying his foot off the gas right here. He wants to make sure he knocks his opponent down because he knows how valuable these points are. We saw a little bit of rock, a lunge back from Woke Sportsman, trying to find his way back into this fight, but so far not able to do it. And you see JMMA still hounding his opponent, still trying to be in the face of his opponent, but needs to be really careful because the right cuts are open up. One nice hook will be the difference in this contest. 2 minutes left here.
That was amazing. So the thing, it was just like so fluent. Very good, very good. Yeah, man, you're completely right. What I'm noticing right now is from the Woke Sports fan is he continues to try to go for a power straight because it was successful in getting 2 rocks in the last round, but he is almost being predictable with it, and it hasn't fooled GMMA. That's why he's keeping his hands up when he's coming in close. See that power straight right there. That one did land. But as we come down to this last final minute, we haven't seen much damage to either of these guys. So really, it's anybody's game. Somebody who wants to take home a victory right now is likely going to get a rock and potentially knock down their opponent. We'll see.
Yeah. And well, here we go. 40 seconds left. Woke Sports fan, JMMA trying to go for the Gusto. And with 30 seconds left, let's see who wants to take this victory. Power shot into the body. 20 seconds left. Both guys trading in the phone booth, not really getting much of the advantage. But right now, time is winding down. It's going to go into the judges' scorecards unless something crazy has happened. 5 seconds left. Woke Sports fan seems like he was very comfortable leaving it go, but he was able to land a nice body shot as we go into the judges' scorecards. And the winner will be JMMA. Takes the victory, able to get the last round and get the final victory as he will be in 5 points as he gets a victory. So his record is 2 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, and that's very huge as he's now in the precipice of the top 8. And you look at the judges' scorecards, 96, 96, 96. The last 2 rounds won it for JMMA right there, Ruthless.
That's kind of crazy, right? Because when I think of round 9, I would have thought that would have been Ryan's round. I would have thought that would have been the Woke Sports fans round, which would have made this fight a little bit closer. But I can understand that it wasn't. So overall, good fight, man, from both of these guys. What I like that they're showing the health and the stamina of each other's opponents. And I think a lot of that came because of the body shots that were being successful coming from the Woke Sports fan. I honestly, it kind of confused a little bit by it because he was showing a lot of straights there. But here's the thing. Here's the thing to make note of right now. JMMA now moves forward with a positive record inside of Esfl Undisputed right now. That's one. The second thing to mention is that the Woke Sports fan now has a record of just a bunch of defeats. I think it's time to go back to the drawing board and take some practicing lessons, man. He's definitely, I don't know if he's out completely yet with this last loss, but if he wants to get back into this tournament or at least be ready for the next one, then it's definitely time for you to start hitting that practice pad and getting yourself ready for the top level competition. Overall, though, good fight to both of those guys. Very happy to see it. Good stuff.
Yeah, very good stuff. And as you said, JMA is in the 5 points, so that's very close to where he needs to go. But for Woke Sports fan, 0-3, very tough result to take, but he's still not out of it fully. I mean, at most, he could possibly get 9 points if he gets like 3 straight knockout victories in the next 3 weeks, because there's still 3 more weeks left to go. So still very much still in play. He's still not out of it, but it's going to be very much tough sledding. He'll be the ultimate underdog going to the next couple of weeks. But speaking of the next couple of contests, we still have some updates of the couple of fights that we had on the future lineup of this fight card. So a little bit of an update. Bone Doing Work was supposed to fight King Diaz. Unfortunately, circumstances wasn't able to allow it. So we made a decision that Bone Doing Work will get the forfeit victory. He will be adding 2 more points. So he will be up to 4 points in clear for Bone Doing Work. And then also along with that fight, unfortunately, TLG Legend versus World Life will not be able to happen. So what I'm getting word is that Word Life will have the victory and he will win by forfeit. So Word Life finally get on the board with 2 points. So again, Bone doing work, getting the victory, 2 points, and Word Life also getting 2 points. So that makes Bone doing work having 4 points, and then Word Life also 2. So already on the board and everything. So unfortunate to see here, Ruthless, but sometimes the show must go on.
Yeah, man. And I understand for Word Life and for Bone doing work, those guys don't really want to get points by not fighting anybody. But ultimately, you guys were ready. Your opponents couldn't. Life does go on, and this is what you guys deserve because you guys showed up and you were ready today.
Yep.
As a competitor myself, I don't want to take any freebies, but man, this is how the game's going. So good for you guys, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Hopefully, maybe you guys fight each other. That would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, that'll be pretty interesting, because the whole ESFL is just booming with Undisputed, with WWE and AEW games, and along with UFC 5 being announced with a little sneak peek, a little bit of a something on their Twitter, which is going to be very exciting for the ESFL with all its booming. But speaking of booming, the commercial food equipment industry is also booming. You can start a career in this field without going to college and make some good money. Scan the QR code on the banner images during today's stream to learn all about the careers in the food service equipment repair industry. It's right around us. It's right down below. If you want to scan the QR code, it makes some good money. And without going to college, to be a part of an industry that's also booming along with the ESFL. And we thank them for sponsoring our regular season of the Undisputed. But as we were talking about Omi, we talked about the fighters, we talked about booming. This next fight, let me tell you, Ruthless, Fight Night's Finance versus Uncle Talent, that is going to be a bit of a booming banger right there, Omi. What do you got for the scouting report for us?
I mean, let me bring that up for you. I love talking about stuff like this. We have another situation where we have a person who's coming in, Fight Night's Finest, coming in with a record of 2-1, and how that happened are both decisions. The thing is that he defeated Jay Shep in week 3 by decision. That was last week, but in his first week he lost to Jobe, um, one of the best fight night boxers of all time. Which, granted, now he's going to be trying to change his name from Fight Night's Finest to Undisputed's Finest, as he steps forth against Twitch streamer Uncle Talent. Now, Uncle Talent comes into this fight with a KO win against Pablo Gribbs in week 2, but he did lose to the co-main event's better half, or other half, I should say,
Right.
Addict by a decision in week 1. And with the technical issues that happened last week, it was a forced draw with JMMA. So there's really no momentum here for Uncle Talent, but there certainly is for Fight Night's Finest. And if this guy wants to come into Undisputed and change his name to Undisputed's Finest, getting a win over Uncle Talent is definitely one of the ways to do that. And I'm excited to see these two match up here. We got pick of Lomachenko again. I mean, I'll tell you what, I really would like to see other fighters. So I'm happy to see another fighter here coming up with Linares. I like playing as Linares. I'm not good with Linares. And so, I mean, kind of a little bit of a pillow hands guy. So I'm curious to see how this goes.
Yeah, and this is a battle between 4-point players in the regular season standing. So if you get 5 points or 6 points clear, you're still in the very much of the forefront of the playoffs. So we'll have to see what goes down. Because again, Talent in the red corner on the left side using Lomachenko, going against Fight Night's Finest in the blue corner using Jorge, and we'll have to see. This will be a different pace than what we see in the previous fights, but sure to be a bit of a banger because we know these guys have knockout power. We know how the strategy implements during the later parts of the rounds. Right now, it's going to be more of a filling out process, but you can see the movement, the blocking, instantly just being prepared at all times with their striking. You can see the body shots landing from Talent, working the body, but again, it's just the nice striking from Fight Night's Finest, knowing that you have some tape against your opponent, you might have an opportunity to see some tendencies. So let's see if he implements that in the first oncoming rounds here, Ruthless.
Yeah, well, that's good news. Uncle Talent, and I'll share that with the folks momentarily. Uncle Talent
Absolutely.
went through. Uncle Talent went through, and he's been throwing a lot of hooks to the body, as he's noticing Fight Night's Finest has been circling that way. But I really like what I'm seeing from Fight Night's Finest. He's not so committed with retreating, but he's not saying that he's going to allow the center of the octagon to be given up so easily. And so he's been landing a lot of nice counter shots. He landed a lead hook and a straight off the back foot, and that was good. That was a really good strategy prior, but seems to be a feeling out process this first round.
Yeah, I mean, you could have it definitely has a feel of octagon, but in this ring, there's a whole different kind of strategy when it comes to the boxing game. But I love what we're seeing from the range from both these competitors because it's so close of like landing into the hitbox of their fighters. But so far, it's just more of like jabs, trying to fill out the jab, a little bit of a straight, trying to see if you could get your opponent to go in for a strike and then try to pounce on them. But for that first round, so far, very clean. We see a little bit of red swelling for Uncle Talent on the right side. We'll have to see if that goes into play for the second round. But this is where rounds 2 or 3, now we really get to figure out what the strategy is going to be for both competitors.
Yeah, and I like the use of these lunges. I mean, now maybe Uncle Talent's just mocking him by throwing in a lot of them himself, these diagonal lunges. And here's a good news for everybody who has been watching right now. Fight 4 is back on, and Fight 4 is Word Life there. Yeah, I'm no longer. They heard how sad I was, and they came back, and they understood that I want to see fights. Damn it!
Ooh.
And I don't like when people just get points for no reason. And I know Word Life wouldn't like that either. Good stuff here. We're gonna see TLG Legend and Word Life up next after this fight. So good stuff there. I'm very excited to watch these guys fight. Back over to the action here. Kingsley, what I'm noticing is that we're seeing a lot of lunges, but it looks like Fight Night's Finest has kind of gotten a little bit of a rhythm with it. I saw the stamina get shot when Lomachenko mixed his shot to that diagonal lunge. Any thoughts about that? Is that a really good part of the strategy here?
Yeah, we'll have to see if it's a really good part of the strategy, but what we're seeing from the flow state, the rhythm of Fight Night's Finest, once he gets going, it's pretty much hard to stop him when he goes in that ring. Because look at that, landing a nice little left hook, but able to get hit back with a little bit of counter shots from Talent. So Talent, he has to know that the flow state is going to bound to happen sooner or later. It's just how you deal with it. And so far, he was able to answer with a counter, but a nice uppercut into a little bit of a jab straight, possibly. And the hooks are working nicely for Fight Night's Finest. So if he plays a little bit on outside, I like this Venus flytrap style where he goes to his opponent, and then when he gets him, just pop, and then move to the other side to make sure he doesn't really take any more damage. So I'm liking what we're seeing for Fight Night's Finest.
I definitely like the idea that he is trying to be a carnivorous plant and eat his opponent like an insect. That's the kind of a fight confidence you need to have as you go into a fight. Think of your opponent as an insect that you can easily squash, but don't overlook it because it could be a wasp and sting you. So point being right now is that we're noticing a lot of stinging shots come from Fight Night's Finest, and he's landing a lot of it off the back foot, right? You see like that. He's baiting and goading his opponent in to going to where he wants him to go and saying, oh, you're going to turn this way? Awesome. I'm going to counter it with something like that. And as you start to open your hands and let your hands drop, I'm going to throw during that. But he's not always looking to engage here. He's just looking for his openings. That was a good body jab there from Fight Night's Finest. And this is good, man. This is some good strategy. I like it. He doesn't feel like he has to rush the pace, and he may not be pushing forward, but when you're playing as Linares against a Lomachenko fighter, this is one of the things that is going to help you out. You don't want to leave a lot of room for slips.
Yeah, you don't want to leave a lot of room for mistakes and get hit with a counter just like that one. Because again, you would think there's a lot of pressure on these folks on the midpoint of the season. Because 4 points doesn't get you in, but doesn't get you quite out. So there's got to be a lot of pressure. But the fact that they're being very calm into that ring and still playing with their play style, that's something that you would love to see in the ESFL. Because it's only the top of the top when it comes to competition in this game. But so far, Fight Night's Finest is doing it seems like he's getting hit a bunch, but again, the blocking is just being so well. What am I worried about is that he's using his block too much, where that block gauge is low, and then when Lomachenko finds his opening, he's able to get out. But as you saw right there, vicious counter to the body would change everything that you would think about it. But again, right hooks, very even, and another one to land with 5 seconds left in this round. Who's gonna land a landing impact in this contest? But so far, it's going to be up to the commentary box. Let's see what the judges are going to score these next couple of rounds.
I would be shocked if it's not all going toward Fight Night's finest.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so I think the thing is, right now, what I'm noticing is that he is being so elusive. And honestly, Uncle Talon might be frustrated because he is certainly fighting like he is. He is getting beaten and battered and constantly getting countered with shots because he's throwing when he thinks he's going to be intercepting Fight Night's finest. Fight Night's finest notices that. And yeah, he's getting caught here and there, but for the primary parts, he is making his opponent miss, other than there, where he just got punched in the face and made me look wrong. But he's making his he's making his opponent miss, and he's making him pay with going in and out and using that diagonal lunge. Honestly, the most successful that we've seen use it all night and landing sickening power shots and counter shots to the body. Again, see right there, he knew that his opponent was going to throw that lead hand. He leans to the outside of his opponent's lead foot, and he has a perfect opening to land a counter shot. And that's been the story of this fight for the first 4 rounds. As he gets caught with that counter shot, though, he does need to be careful, obviously. This is boxing.
Yeah, and that's going to be the one thing. It's just like the timing of everything with his striking, because you saw that his opponent did like 2 lunges back to back or slips away, but he didn't really land a strike. He was able to get out there. Can he just avoid the folly of going to the trap of a trade? Because in these situations, it's a brawl, and anything could possibly happen, and he does it again to his opponent. So right now, who can land that right maneuver into the body, or maybe going for a backstep straight, which you can't do a lot in this competition, because we know the ESFL has limited the amount of times that you can do it. But with 15 seconds left, have your opponents back to the ropes. Now turn it around. Let's see what can Talon do. It seems like we're just going to leave it towards the body, going to the close. But again, another good round. I think Fight Night's Finest is doing such a great job, but you need to be very careful with Talon, because Talon knows what he's doing.
Oh, yeah, dude. I mean, as we saw prior, like, anything can happen in the ESFL, as we've known from past events and all different kinds of games, right? So, if you made it here, you're definitely a threat. The thing about this, though, is that, you talked about that back straight punch that's coming across. He's utilizing that very well. And he's doing it, I wouldn't say it's very cheesy like that he's doing it, but he is doing it when it's most effective, right? And that's really what we'd like to see. I'm a fan, and I'm an advocate for everything to be allowed, because it's the way the game's designed at the moment. It's the only way to get better, and that's how we evolve. But the thing is that I do respect the way the ESFL has come about this, and where it's one of those things that if the opponent hasn't complained, we're really not going to go after him, right? And I think that what he's doing right now is very wise and very smart. He's really trying to catch his opponent with openings just like that. He does it again. He does it again, man. And now he's got Uncle Talon frustrated, trying to mimic him and do the same thing, but it's not happening. I think maybe, though, he's starting to find a rhythm of doing it himself. So, like, look at this. See, he's frustrated, and now he's doing it back, and he's wasting his stamina. He's got to be careful.
Do you think that goes into the frustration? Like, when you get hit with that, because I think it happened twice in this round, and with 1 minute to go, do you just, like, play into your mind a little bit? Like, okay, he got me that time. Now I have to do it back to him, and it's not working. Does that play, like, a little bit of a mind game to you? Do you try to go with something like that?
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is like, example, when the biggest thing that was going on was Muhammad Ali and his hooks. I mean, if it ain't broke, which it was. But that's the thing. You can definitely do what your opponent is doing to you back to him if your character allows for it. Lomachenko can do practically everything. But the thing is that if you do that, Boss Rutan said it best. Boss Rutan said, I'm going to throw a high kick at you because I know that you're going to try to mimic what I do. and try to throw a high kick back. And that left you open for takedowns and big power shots, and he would just duck and knock people out. That's why he's one of the greatest. And his fight IQ is pretty high there. So if you can get your opponent into mimicking your actions, then you know what they're going to do. That obviously you catch 22. You can live by the sword, die by the sword, but I think the reason we saw him do those lunges so much was out of frustration, not out of a game plan or not out of like, oh, well, you know, I can do that too thing. And more of like, oh, you're doing that so much, it's frustrating me. I'm just going to do it right back to you. How do you like it? And that's not boxing. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's frustrated fighting.
Yeah, and right now he's using the frustration to attack Fight Night's Finest with some good combinations onto his opponent. But again, counters. Every time he gets a little bit of momentum, it seems like it's not going to his favor because he's always getting answered back. Because right now, the clean combinations, it was a good sequence for Uncle Talent. But Talent needs to find a way to keep it consistent. But it's just those shots right there, as you pointed out, Ruthless, it just works so well for Fight Night's Finest. And going to these next couple rounds, what can you do more? He's looking at not able to fully land. That drained so much of his stamina. He's at 74, 74, and now it just like seems like he's fighting angry. He's boxing angry against Fight Night's Finest.
But what he just did there is exactly what he needs to do. See, he is fighting angry. But at the same time, maybe that's what you got to do. Maybe you got to make this fight ugly, and you got to expect that your opponent's trying to do that diagonal dodge, and maybe you just make this into a very ugly brawl. I mean, he's starting to find some success here. He gets caught again with another backstepping straight. And it's very intriguing. And that right there, again, that diagonal lead body uppercut is absolutely disgusting. You can also see that there is now a cut forming on the right side of his face. And we just were alerted there by the notification on the bottom. And we're now coming to the end of the 6th round. Again, I would be really shocked if I didn't see it all unanimously going toward Fight Night's Finest. However, maybe a round here and there.
Oh, but and it's a clean sweep that you saw for Fight Night's Finest. Getting all 6 rounds so far. And you have to think, the more frustrated he gets for Talent, he needs to put on the gas. He needs to throw the kitchen sink out. Because right now, all the judges are possibly seeing him losing. He's getting some strikes in. But what I saw from Fight Night's Finest in that last round, it says, like, he launched back with a backstep straight. But then also, he followed up with like a nice 1-2 with a hook. It's not only that he's doing that one punch, it's that he's leading up with consistent more punches. Exactly. And that's just frustrating his opponent, leading up to the cut. Now with Uncle Talent dealing with this situation, that punch has been so tasty every single time for Fight Night's Finest, able to get it. It's just the lunges back. It just seems like it's just been systematic for Fight Night to just land those strikes every single time.
I'm shocked that Uncle Talent hasn't really picked up on the timing of it just yet, because like you take a look at it right here, and I like that he hasn't done it immediately again, but you can imagine that you see just like that, like he is going for it constantly, and there should be a vulnerability that's available to him if he can get caught. But again, he does it again, and he lands that nice lead body uppercut, and that is exactly what you got to do. Throw when your opponent has thrown, and throw to the outside of their lead leg. This is really high level boxing. And oh my God, he lands that left hand and he keeps attacking that cut.
And we saw the demoralizing effect on Uncle Talent, because when we saw Fight Night's Finest do that move, he tried to answer back with a hook uppercut, misses both of them, and it drained so much of his stamina. So he's trying his damnness to find his way back in. But every time he's trying to chase his opponent, he's getting hit with a straight, he's getting hit with a body shot, he's getting hit with hooks every single time. And with 5 seconds left, it's just more of the same. Fight Night's Finest is putting on a clinic, and with the 8th round coming up, this seems to be elementary, my dear Watson, as that right cut is still on the 1 bar, but it might go on further if he keeps on getting hit to the body and to the face.
He's definitely schooling his opponent here. You're right about that.
Yeah, and we'll have to see again in the start of a new round. What can Talent do? He wants to swarm his opponent. He wants to get his opponent onto the ropes, onto the corner. But every time he goes in, that punch that changes everything. It's like a switch button, turning his opponent off where he doesn't want to throw anymore. He's trying to answer back, but he gets countered every single time. So with Fight Night's Finest, what can he do? Find his way. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Able to land in succession, able to land again. Anything you can do, I can do it 10 times better. And that's what Fight Night Finest is doing.
Yeah, I really am going to be curious to see how much damage came to Fight Night's Finest in this fight, because it really does feel like he is being elusive and being extremely technical on his defense. We're talking karate master level here. That was disgusting. Again, that's my favorite shot that he's thrown the entire fight, because he's landing inconsistently and he's doing it when his opponent is throwing like a jab or something. And now at this point, you just see that Uncle Talon is coming forward and he's just trying to keep him to stay still.
Yeah,
that's not the mission here. Yeah, and there's no reason to throw power at this point, by the way. Like you really want to make sure you land your shots, and the power shots are too slow. So like, I mean, the thing is that you continuously just walk forward toward your opponent. You're not making any space. You're not throwing him off a little bit. You have just been trying to stay in his face the whole time. You need to make some space, go in, go out, make him think you're going to go somewhere. And when he is walking to the right, oh my God, he did it again.
And with 30 seconds left there, Ruthless, we saw that the thumb work, the precision that Fight Night Finest has been doing so far has been working to a T from round 1 to the current round in round number 8. And with 7 seconds left, it just seems more of the same. And kudos for Talents for still trying to stick in and fight, but it just seems like every time he tries to go for a right opening, it just hasn't worked out. Because right now, swelling, cuts, the stamina is lower than the health. Everything is on, like, just a lower level. Not for a lack of a better term, it just seems like it's just in slow mode going against the Fight Night Finest, because Fight Night Finest is turning out the pressure every single time, and he's laying these body shots, but also going for a jab, going for a straight. Every time it's working for him, and I don't know what the answer is for Uncle Talon.
I mean, he could definitely come back and
true, absolutely,
and do something here, but we're talking, this is round 9 at this point, so the idea of you coming back and doing, or round 8, it's actually hard to see.
Yeah, it's hard to read, but I think it's round 9. It's round 9.
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much. I appreciate this.
2 minutes left to go, though.
We're talking, it's round 9, 2 minutes left to go, and you can definitely come back. I mean, but the thing is, you're coming back with a knockout. So how do you do that? Well, you need to stop walking directly into your opponent and standing in front of him. And you have to make it look like I'm going to come forward. And all right, he's like, okay, you're going to come forward and you're going to hit me. Nope, I'm actually not forward. You just threw strikes and now I'm going to hit you with something. And that's exactly what Fight Night's Finest has been doing to Uncle Talon here. And I think Uncle Talon has not been able to adjust this entire fight. He's getting beat up. He's got cuts on his face, swelled up, man. I really don't see him coming back unless he gets a clean flash KO here. It's possible, but not probable.
And mind you, with 40 seconds left in the penultimate round, 2 more points are on the line. So if you get 2 points and you're going to 6 points, you're tied for the #1 seed in the Undisputed season, pending future results later in the contest. But so far, Fight Night's Finest is fighting like a bat out of hell, but the launches away have working. And it seems like Talent, he's trying to avoid, trying to find his opening, but not able to do much. But with the 10th round coming out, Fight Night's Finest, this is his fight to lose.
Exactly. It's definitely his fight to lose, and I would imagine that the CompuBot's going to give him every single round, as you see here. Uncle Talon at this point is done with chasing. He's just standing still, and it's causing the Fight Night's Finest to try to do something the same. And as you just said, man, his fight to lose, it could definitely be that case. So he better, chill out. He doesn't want to get knocked out and put on the canvas.
Absolutely.
Look at that.
You saw the combination. Look at the combinations coming in. Now, this goes into play. We know that the rounds have been all on Fight Night's Finest favor. So he possibly has the 2 points locked in. Could he possibly go for the knockdown? Knockdown for Fight Night's Finest as he gets him down. Now it's up to his opponent. to Talon. He gets up, but that's a huge 10-8 round right there. And now, and so how much time does he have to get that extra point right there, homie?
I did tell us we were going to say something. Oh man, that's the man in the back. That's amazing. That was really slick. We got a minute left, and if Uncle Talent is not careful, I mean, honestly, throw caution to the wind, right? You know you're going to lose, so try to make it worth something. Maybe get a flash of yourself, but his block is getting damaged. He's getting the crap is being beaten out of him. Like, he won't need, like, it's going to be a flawless victory. There won't even need to be, like, wiping there. The crap's all gone. And he's down. He's down right now, and I don't know if he's going to be able to get up. That's a lot of damage.
We'll have to see. The bar is up, and he does get up with the 6 count. Now it's up to him. How much time is left? The latest knockout that we've seen in this Undisputed season was 4 seconds, so he still has 10 seconds to go. Look at that extra point, and the Campbell bounty. Finest is trying to seal the deal, trying to find his way, able to get a nice counter, able to get the knockout bounty, and he will take victory. 2 points go in favor of Fight Night's Finest as he has 6 points and has the #1 seed locked in, pending the future co-main and main event results later on. But what an impressive showing. 100. 3 of them things. 100 on the board. A 10-7 round. That is an impressive showing for Fight Night's Finest at Ruthless.
88, 100 to 88, man. And that all came because of a very smart strategy with his game plan. And he definitely followed it, and he did it well. Look at this. Look at his health. Look at his stamina. Oh my God. He was barely ever hitting the body. Only 35 hits to 90 headshots with a 24% accuracy to a 38% accuracy at 195 landing. I mean, he not only beat up Uncle Talent, he outthrew Uncle Talent as well and continued to land, and he won. That's crazy.
For him,
that's incredible.
For him, it was just a Sunday. He was just going on his business, just walking his merry way, just walking apart. I mean, I have never seen that before, where a fighter in the ESFL has just dominated his opponent on the scorecards, on the percent of strikings, and getting those 2 knockdowns. And you have to think, for Fight Night's Finest, you have to feel like, dang, if I would have gotten that extra point and get that KO bounty, that would have been proved the whole difference. But all in all, is a decision win, a key decision win, as he goes 3 wins, 1 losses in his regular season Undisputed career for the ESFL. But that is very, very big. And you have to think, other people who are looking around in this whole contest have to be like, damn, you could do that against his opponent? That's kind of crazy. But before we go into more fights, again, follow our socials, follow our Twitch, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to take a quick intermission break, and we'll get ready for the next couple of fights and get you ready for that 4-5 coming back up.
See you soon, guys.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone in between. We are back here live for the Undisputed regular season, week 4, our midway point. I am your host and commentator Kingsley. Alongside me is Ruthless Omni. We're here giving you all the greatest stuff that it is to be with Undisputed, and hopefully our competitors are ready to go because we're kind of rewinding the clock here, Ruthless. We're going back to a fight that we thought was going to be a forfeit win, but now we're seeing it here in TLG Legend going against Word Life.
Yeah, they knew I was sad. I'm taking that joke. They knew I was sad about it, and they were and he showed up. Well, I mean, let's talk about these guys, right? Let's talk about these guys and let's go over some of the facts about them. There's really not much to say about TLG Legend other than the man's a legend on TikTok with 223,000 followers. So we're lucky. We are lucky and happy to have you on board. Word Life, though, he's got some things to be said about this guy. I mean, where did it even begin? He's such a long time ESFL veteran, and a lot of people like this guy. Considered a crowd favorite, right? He has 3 losses this season, unfortunately. But let's talk about to whom those are to, and these are really close. Lost a decision to Bone Doing Work. Lost a decision to K Young Butter, and lost by a decision to Game Over. So those right there, if you look at everything that's going on, this guy has something to prove here. And if he can get a knockout, that could really help him get involved in the tournament coming up, if he's still interested in getting into that. So I would imagine that's what he's going to be looking toward tonight, Kingsley.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, we still, along with this week, we still have 3 more weeks. So if he gets like 4 straight knockouts, he has 12 points and he's in the thick of things. Well, TLG Legend making his debut, as you said, we'll have to see.
This name for him too.
Yeah, and he's making his way into this big spotlight, bringing all the support that he has from one platform onto another into a big spotlight. So we'll have to see. We see, I think the fire selection is smoking Joe Frazier, going for Word Life, going against Floyd Patterson on the blue side for TLG Legend on the blue corner on the right side. So we'll have to see already with the Philly cross blocking of Word Life. Word Life already depleting his stamina, trying to make his way in, probably trying to go for Bone Doing Work, saying, you know what, you can't be no stamp game this event, I could be no stamp game and use all of it. But right now, we're just seeing a bit of a brawl, a little bit of a different kind of situation that we saw from our last fight here of Ruthless.
Yeah, I think is he throwing power shots? Is that why his stamina is just draining like this? It's very interesting. He is landing some of these shots too. That's why I'm very curious. But yeah, he's doing really good. I love playing as Smoking Joe Frazier, and I'm very happy not to see another Lomachenko fight on this card. I'm sure we're gonna see another one coming up, but it's really nice that.
Imagine a Joe Frazier versus Lomachenko fight. I feel like that'd be absolutely insane. Like, give like UFC like loose rules with like the weight classes. I feel like that'd be a fun ass fight. Honestly.
That would be pretty fun. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so
that's what that was.
So leaping left hook is a new power punch for Joe Frazier, but also Joe Frazier, along with the patch, this has to be very good for him with 1 minute to go. He can fight on the inside and do his damage towards the body. So Joe Frazier has a new lease on life in this new patch. So that's one other thing that we have to look out for in the name of Word Life.
You're definitely right about that. For one, Smoking Joe Frazier is putting his opponent in danger, always looking to do that kind of things to make his opponent's face look like a stranger to his own family after throwing all these punches. But the thing is, I'm actually not even familiar with Floyd Patterson yet. I'm pretty sure he was released in one of the newer patches that came out in the heavyweight division. So he just got clocked though, and he got hit really hard there and almost got knocked down at the end of that round, Kingsley. That was a very telling thing to have happen at the end there.
When there's fire, there's absolutely smoke, and Smoking Joe Frazier is bringing all the fire he can with those power punches. And you can see that Rock was happening. Can he follow through? Can Word Life find his way to go against his opponent? Because I feel like this is what he wants to do. Fight on the inside. Look, oh my God, so many punches. What's that? 4 in a row, just landing on a head and able to slip under. It seems like TLG Legend, this is where he needs to build his legend, because right now he is getting punched consistently to the face and needs to work around that Philly cross.
Ooh.
Power cross back though.
Yeah, that was a good counter shot right there. He did a diagonal lunge, and he was able to successfully create an opening. And make no mistake, heavyweight division is a lot of power, so we can see some knockouts fairly quick, especially when you got a person like Joe Frazier. Now, I tell you this, man, it looks like Word Life does not care about stamina. As you said, no Sam Gang. He is throwing caution to the wind and is throwing a lot of hooks to the body and to the head. Damn. And as I say that, he lands another one. Clean.
Yeah, halfway mark of the second round right here. And you have to think, along with his no Sam Gang mentality, this has to be like a ticking time bomb. It's like, okay, I'm using all this stamina. I need to make sure I get him down, or at least get enough rounds in the bank where if it goes to like an 8th round or a 9th round, he has enough where he can not throw as much or keep the consistency as he's doing right now. So it'll be a huge play what he does in this round. But so far, if I'm TLG Legend, this is where if you can weather the storm right here, you might be looking really good in the later rounds. But right now, you need to answer back, because right now, these counters, these shots are not working well. Like, every time you try to go in the phone booth with them, it seems like it's not really doing much. You need to find a way to gain your distance.
Yeah, the thing to mention as well is there's a little bit of a desync happening here from on the TLG Legends side of things. I mean, granted, it's the whole game, right? So they're desyncing a little bit. We saw that when TLG Legend was going to back up, his character model stayed in place, but it was still showing as if he was moving backwards. The thing, a thing to mention, not even the thing, a thing to mention here is that what is happening with the stamina part of this is very crucial, because right now TLG Legend has not been throwing so much. Maybe he's thrown about 50 punches this entire fight so far. I mean, it's very sparse. But on the contrary, you got Word Life, who has probably thrown over a 100 at this point. So we were talking about turtling up and waiting until later rounds. That might be what we're seeing here. I don't know if he'll be able to make it because of how powerful Joe Frazier is, but he's doing well and he's attacking the body at this point. So it might be telling when at the end of the first round he got rocked, but so far, look at that. That was an incredible combination to the body. Left and right hooks landing flush.
And that could be the part of the game plan, right? Like, along with the turtling and along with like weathering the storm, attacking the body, so you drain that stamina even more. If the body falls, the head will fall too. So if he works on that, it's going to be perfect. It's going to be the perfect game plan. But it's just like, can you keep on doing it? Can you not try to dissuade from your game plan? Because if he gets rocked again, then what happens to the mentality of sticking with the game plan? Because with 1 minute left, say if Frazier goes on a warpath and he's landing these hooks, I mean, that could change everything that you've seen from his game plan. So right now, counters like that with the left hook working so nice, but the body shots are still doing damage. If you keep it with the game plan, as you see a double lunge, a diagonal lunge into a right power, that could have been some damaging for TLG Legend, but Word Life still working his way through, and getting some bombs in. This is a slugfest right here with 15 seconds left.
A slobber knocker, as JR would say.
By God.
Definitely. Yeah, by God, a slobber knocker right here. Yeah, I like that he's taunting him now. Getting some confidence is TLG Legend. I mean, even if you have 223,000 people on TikTok watching you, you pre-make those videos and you sending out shorts. It's far different than being live in front of an audience. So this right here is a different thing, and that was what I was starting to see. Look at this. You see those last 2 rounds there, and that is because we're starting to see that Patterson here is landing appropriate shots to the body, and Legend is doing what he's got to do. Good stuff, man. I mean, this is still a very close fight, early rounds, so it could be anyone's game here anyway. I would imagine Word Life probably wants to retract his no gang, his gang life.
His stamina,
Yeah, his gang life for the stamina. Yeah, he wants to, Word Life, he wants to get rid of his gang affiliation with the no Sam rule now, but it might be too little too late, because he needs to be careful. 4th round and you're already closer to 60% stamina and taking counter shots to the body, man. That's not so good.
Yeah, but we've seen it before with Bone Doom working World Life. They put on some crazy shows, and there was a reason why they were fighting a night contender in the first week. But so far, we're liking what TLG's Legend is doing. He's not fighting in the phone booth as much, and when he does, he is able to land in succession with the body shots. Now it's up to him. Can he keep up the distance? Can he keep up the range? While World Life, he's working his punches. Look, the counters are working so well, and with 1 minute to go, it's still consistent pressure, consistent punches, and it's working. Like, it seems like he's more in his flow state right now. Can he continue on the pressure? Because right now he's gauging distance. Look at that, left, right, every single time, just dig into the head.
Yeah.
Creating craters where his dimples were. It's just so nice to see. And right now, you see Legend entering back a little bit. But again, get out of the because the phone booth is a dangerous place. Clark Kent is coming out. Superman taunting from Smoking Joe. Word Life is saying, if you want some, come get some, because this is basic thugonomics, and I'm coming for your head as we go into the next mid-inning break or mid-round break. But man, Ruthless, we're seeing some action here.
Yeah, I like that you brought the John Cena reference in there. That was beautiful. Of course we got it. It's a GOAT. Man, oh man. That's you right there. You said it all. The thing I want to comment on again is fighting in the phone booth when Word Life is spazzing out and throwing a lot of hooks. Just back out. Like, you don't have to constantly move forward, right? Like, it's as if you got your. It's like as if you're opening up in chess and you have your pawn piece pinning their other pawn piece, but you have another one available, and you're doubling up on that one piece in that center with a knight, right? You could take their piece, but then you're losing that doubling up protection on the other piece. So backing out rather than trying to stay in and always fight and fight out of there and moving back might be the better option, and let your opponent come through. But staying in front of somebody who's throwing wild hooks like this, not a good answer.
Yeah, and one of the main things that you see in chess is, like, the most popular move is going for a castle. Sometimes you want to move away from your opponent to gain some distance or try to see what the outlook of the match could possibly be. In this contest, Legend is doing a nice job with his range, but every time he goes in, it seems like he's just in a world of hurt. Because, like, right here, this is not his range. If he goes a little bit further, like right there was his range for a second. If he goes here, he's getting hit in the body, he's getting hit in the head. With that Philly cross, it seems like there's no real avenue to attack when you go so close up. Because right there, that's a fantastic counter to the body. That's his range. If he stays right there, he's perfect. But if you go into World Life where he's most comfortable with 30 seconds, he's going to knock you down. He might have another chance for a rock opportunity.
Oh, man. He definitely does. Look at that combination he just threw. And those counters that he landed flushly against Joe Frazier. And again, we saw taunt attempts coming out of Word Life's corner there.
Now, another thing that we saw like a tired straight coming from TLG Legend. I'm wondering, is he working into the game plan where he's not saving as much stamina? Is he trying to go tit for tat against Word Life? That would be the main thing as we're approaching the 6th round. Next round, we'll see the copy box prediction scores to see whether TLG Legend is still at the forefront. Because the last time we saw it, he was up 2 rounds to 1. Now with this, with the striking, with the rocking from Word Life, it's going to be all about who can make the best impression. And so far, it's going to be very scary because these hooks are coming up clean from Word Life.
Yeah, well, now Word Life is...
Oh, look.
That was nasty. That was a good combination. Look at that stamina. That stamina is atrocious. It's round 6, and you have less than half of your stamina left. You're more than halfway through the fight. You're around halfway between the fight being done, and you have Ranger gas tank. And I think that's why we're not seeing as big of an output, obviously, from Word Life at this time. But TLG Legend's doing a good job there. Yeah, that was glancing. TLG Legend is doing a good job there with stepping out now and not standing in front of Word Life, knowing Word Life is just trying to spam these shots, which granted, the word spam is taken a little negatively sometimes, but honestly, that's what you gotta do. You gotta throw these hooks, you gotta use what's good for your fighter, and that's what he was doing, but he burned his stamina, and he keeps getting caught with counter body shots, which is making it hurt worse.
And with 1 minute to go, I love the movement that we're seeing from Warlife because every time he's going in, it's usually like he's lunging in or ducking under. Like right there, that move has been working so well for him so far in this contest, whether it was a straight or a jab or going to the body. It just seems like there's not real like a, I'm going to walk towards you and land a strike. It's more like I'm going to create some movement. I'm going to get you thinking, then I'm going to go for my opportunity to strike against you. Well, TLG Legend, it seems like he's going more forward in, and I think that's something decent that you were talking about. But with 5 seconds left, we'll have to see if TLG Legend, can he land something? He lands to the body. The 7 has to be low. Now, I feel like with rounds 7 and 8, this is where TLG Legend has to put the pedal to the metal with his striking. Now he has an opportunity because now you're in the deep waters with these fighters. The 7 might not be there, but the opportunity might as well be there. As you see, the copy box is still all for TLG Legend, winning the last couple of rounds. So it's a big fight that Warlife needs to do right here.
Yeah, if Wordlife wants to get back into this, if he would be well off with finding a... he'd be
It's just
well
the
off
taunting. It's
finding,
crazy.
Yeah, well, I like that too. That's the confidence coming from TLG Legend, understanding that he is boxing his opponent here. I'm very shocked that Wordlife, being the vet that he is, went with a strategy that was so taxing so early on. I mean, I could imagine him doing that now, starting from this round forward. But really, when you're talking about playing as Joe Frazier is, you know, known for throwing a lot of good shots, but a lot of them power. And he would land to, like, you know, go forward and hit you right in the body and crack you in the face and put a lot of pressure on you. But the thing is, right now, Wordlife seems to be controlling a lot of the center. That was a power counter left hook to the head, landing flush from my man TLG Legend. The TikTok sensation is putting on a show right now.
Yeah, he's putting on a show, but you can't count anybody out in this contest. We've seen it before. When you think you have your opponent down and out and you're having success, you might get something like that. Oh, vicious hooks as we see a timber landing. A huge knockdown for TLG Finest as Warlife has to find a way to find his way back up. He will, but that was a 7 count, a little bit less faster than what we see other competitors. But now this is the opportunity that TLG has been looking for since the beginning of the first round. Now he sees his opportunity, able to get a knockdown 10-8 round, and with 10 seconds left, can he add on? Can he get 3 points in his debut against Warlife, who is trying to fight for his regular season life?
I don't know if he can. I don't know if he can, man. That right there put a nail in the coffin. Even if the rounds were closer on the other judges' scorecards, it's definitive when you get a knockdown against somebody that you nullify. If you even lost 2 rounds, you just won and evened out 2 rounds by winning and putting down another point. So you could be ahead. This is really a tough situation now. And it does look like TLG Legend is starting to let his punches fly, and he is not engaging that war that Wordlife really wants. And he's using that diagonal movement so well and throwing counter hooks and doing what I love, one of my favorite shots, and he's landing it successfully. Oh man, that stamina is truly gone. Repping his gang.
Oh, that's what we talked about. That is what we talked about with the No Sam game. We know that Timber is coming down and he's flexing on his opponent as we see a knockdown in favor of his opponent, Warlife. Warlife doing so well as we hit a 6 count, 7 count to a 6 count. Now it gets very interesting, ladies and gentlemen.
Ooh.
This is what the Esfl is all about. Buckle your seatbelts. We're halfway through the round, taunting back and forth. TLG Legend says, I'm not phased at all. Warlife trying to find his way back in. Says he found an opportunity. Now he's going to land it. Those hooks have been so nice for both competitors. Warlife is still on the prowl. 1 minute left in this round. This is the 8th round right here in TLG Legend trying to answer back. But you see, Warlife, he's not going to stop. He's going to keep coming at his
As he
opponent.
should.
And with 40 seconds left, he's still going. He's still moving.
Oh.
Hooks landing, but the stamina can only go so far. 30 seconds left. This is where you're in trouble if you're a TLG legend. If you're a TLG legend, you need to find a way to get some momentum here right now. But with 15 seconds left, punches coming in from Warlife, trying to find his range, trying to launch in, gets some, and gets knocked down. 40 shovels, 5 seconds left. You're back. We see TLG legend becoming a legend as his own. Can he get to the stool? And he will. The second knockdown for TLG legend.
I'm sweating.
Woo.
This man has embraced the darkness he is going through and putting in such work on his opponent right here.
Overall, man, that was some dark side of the force kind of energy there to get that knockdown at the end. And now you would imagine that round is nullified. That's going to be, to them, that's a 9-9 for both of them. And the work that Warlife just put in is gone, because though his recklessness got
You see the work is done? The work is never done. There's no quit till the bell's rung, and there's another knockdown. My God, the second knockdown. We expect him to get back up, and now we're in 3-point territory. Floyd Patterson, TLG legend, has been knocked down twice. Warlife has been knocked down twice. One more, and that could be it. We are in the penultimate round right here, round 9. There's still under 2 minutes left to go. Warlife fighting for his regular season life. TLG legend is trying to start his legend right here, right now. And you see both guys still trying to fight it, going forward. Warlife is still going forward, damn it. He still wants to find a way to knock down his opponent. Still going for the hooks, but the launch is back. Attacking the body, trying to go for a hook. Legend does. Legend not able to fully get everything that he wants. Trying to find his way back in. Able to get a counter shot. Body's landing on me. With 1 minute left, this could be the barn burner that we've been asking for.
Enough said, man. That was beautiful. That was gorgeous. The sequence. I would love if we had a flashback of that. The sequence that led to the knockdown that happened in this round was insane. He did his lunging power right hand hook, boom, lands it, and then he follows up immediately with another hook. And this is what is making, and why in the heavyweight division, it doesn't really matter what has happened prior to this round. What matters is what's going on in the present. But what presently is going on is that there's definitely a stamina difference between these two fellas, but it doesn't seem to be phasing him. Let's see if he can make this round something even, and he almost did. He almost did.
Wow. This is the final round, ladies and gentlemen. Live on Twitch and on YouTube. This is where champions are being made right here, ladies and gentlemen. With the 10th round, the legend is up in the scorecards. Warlife was able to get even knockdowns. He was almost close to getting knocked down in the last parts. Still taunting his opponent. Both guys in the phone booth. Still trying to find a way to get attacking the body. Attacking with the hooks. Who is going to survive? Who is going to get the 3 points? Or will we see only a 2 points? That'd be real disappointing for both of these competitors if they don't get the knockout. These are heavyweights, and they're going after it. Body shots, landing, trying to find the distance right here. Hooks, combinations, uppercuts, landing for one. Able to duck under, gets the counter shots. 2 minutes to go. Both guys fighting for their lives. Oh, another one. Warlife on the flow state, working his way through. And Legend is still trying to back away, trying to find his way back in. But I don't know if he has a chance. He has an opportunity. I mean, this is absolutely insane.
Yeah, that was incredible. Yeah, man, that's intensity. That's what we need when we're talking this 10th round here, man, because look at this. Nobody giving an inch. They're fighting in the center of the ring, exactly what we want to see, and we are seeing a full-on onslaught coming from both of these guys, and look at that. And TLG Legend is continuing to try to find his opening, and he continues to land in the body. That could have been really dangerous. But here's the thing. We're coming up to the last 45 seconds here, and according to CompuBot, Warlife's still down. So if that is true, and that one judge is crazy, let's see if he gets one more knockdown. Does that actually help?
We'll have to
I
see.
don't know.
20 seconds left right here. 15 seconds to go. Warlife is fighting. He's able to get the hooks in 10 seconds. He needs to put everything. Oh, but he might get knocked down himself. He gets knocked down. TLG Legend might have stolen an extra point in this contest. Will Fraser able to get up? At least limit 1 point. It's a battle of attrition. Will he get up? 7, 8. Oh,
8.
my God. He's not going to get the full 3 points. It will only be a 2-pointer for TLG Legend as he gets a victory as we go to the judges. But man,
Wow! Congratulations! What a fight! That was a hell of a fight, man. That was one hell of a fight. I'm just the excitement, and again, I was sweating. That was incredible. That was absolutely incredible. Back and forth, and honestly, when you look at the judges' scorecards here, it really wasn't. It really wasn't. But congratulations right there on the victory to TLG Legend, and by defeating a legend of the ESFL in a very dominating situation, ending the final round definitively with that knockdown. Goodness gracious. That right there might be a fight of the night contender. That was really good.
That might absolutely be. I feel like that's leading up. That's the tippity top of Fight of the Night contenders. But one other thing, because it's so nice to get the victory, right? You have the points, you have the 2 points, but man, not able to get the counter KO bounty. Kudos for Warlife for finding a way to get back up not once, not twice, but 3 times with hardly any stamina, still being competitive in the fight. It seems like he was constantly giving a barrage to TLG Legend, giving him all that he could ever ask for. But when the moment came, TLG Legend with the stamina, with the execution, with the precision, was able to get the victory, bar not being 3 points, but 2 points. But that gets him in the conversation. That gets him in the where the door is to possibly get into the playoffs. Because if we see more of that, if he's able to get a knockout again, we'll definitely see in the playoffs. But man, what a result and what a contest for both of those competitors. Because Omi, we still have 3 more fights to go, and it's only going to get bigger and better and more amazing. So we need to save our voice. We need to drink plenty of water. I hope you guys.
I think you need to save your voice. I think you need to save your voice.
It's gonna, trust me, it's gonna be gone by the end of this. I'm giving it all my full force because all these competitors deserve it because it's gonna be so amazing. And we thank you guys for attending here for ESFL live on our Twitch and our YouTube. If you want to join things like this, be sure to join our Discord. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube because, as we said, we want to see a flashback of that. You could absolutely see a flashback on our YouTube archives because we have every single week of the regular season of the Undisputed that you want to see. So if you want to see a crazy knockout, if you want to see other previous Fight Night contenders, you can absolutely do that on our YouTube and on our Twitch. You can see the live action and predict who you think is going to win our next contest. Because our next contest, this one is a big one here, Ruthless Omni. EyeGameUWatch has talked a big game. He has been undefeated. He has 2 wins. He has 1 draw going against someone who is up there. It's a number 6 point getter going against a number 5 point getter in Royszn. When you look at the scouting report for this contest, how excited are you for this matchup, Omni?
I mean, you're talking a knockout against Woke Sports Fan in week 1, and a victory over Game Over, and a draw against the co-main event, one half of the co-main event against Addict85 for EyeGameUWatch. Another TikTok famous person with 271,000 people as his followers. Again, we appreciate you being here and sharing the love, and hopefully we can see some highlights come onto your channel. Against a guy, Roy, I'm gonna just call him Roy because it's like,
no, you're
like
totally
SZA. That's really hard. Like Roy, like there's a place called Roy's in Hawaii, by the way. Rob,
miss you,
our
Rob.
producer, really, Rob. Yeah, that man right there would probably know about it. But I'll tell you what, that's a good place. So Roy, I hope that just bias alone because I like that food. I hope you are as good as that restaurant because right now we're looking at he was a second replacement in week 1, beating King Diaz by decision. He lost to Pryoxis. However, he then came back in week 4 and he knocked out Pablo Gribbs. So he's coming off of a knockout victory. versing his opponent who's coming off of a draw. So I would say that the momentum's going to Roy here coming into this fight.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Again, these guys are in the thick of the playoff standings. Right now, you see EyeGameUWatch tie for #1 seed, along with someone who just came there, Fight Night's Finest, and Loso that we're going to be seeing in our main event. These guys are going to be so exciting to watch. And Royszn, he's just like 1 point away from getting to that #1 spot. So if he wins this, that's going to be huge, because not only that you knock down EyeGameUWatch, but you also propel yourself up to the #1 spot with 7 points and possibly 8 points. So with Canelo Alvarez on the right side, going in favor possibly. Oh, it seems like we have a little bit of a DC. We'll hopefully we'll go back to that fight. Hopefully we'll get an update. But that fight was so good, you miss it in the blink of an eye, you know, Ruthless. So again, let's just set the table a little bit more. So EyeGameUWatch, he came to the Undisputed season. He taunted a bunch. He was able to get a knockout. He had such a dominant performance in the first week, but he kept on going forward with his momentum. Never lost a single competition, but he had that draw last week against Addict85, and that was a huge detriment because he thought like he should have won that fight. Addict85 thought he should have won that fight, but looking back at it, it was obvious that it should have been a draw. Well, Royszn, he has 2 wins and 1 loss. Even though he had that 1 loss against Pryoxis, there's a reason why Pryoxis is the co-main. He is the be-all end-all, and he knows what he's doing. So tough competition for both of these competitors. It's going to be very interesting how both of these guys are setting the table for this next contest here, Ruthless.
I mean, I'll tell you one thing, and we'll say it right now. It's time, man. It's time from Saul. Chin Saul. That's my boy right there. I absolutely love playing as Canelo. And this is going to be a really fun fight to watch because, again, it doesn't have Lomachenko in it. And any fight without Lomachenko for the rest of the card is going to make me very excited and happy to watch, because I like seeing people wear something other than yellow trunks. But
well, let's talk about what also, along with these competitors, with the Lomachenko not being picked, we see Canelo Alvarez, but Joe Kazagi, he's also Kazagi. He's 92 overall. He was added onto the game, I think 2 patches before, but he's very much like been the meta pick in previous ESFL weeks in the Undisputed season. So it'll be very interesting. Could the Canelo Alvarez power to the body withstand Joe's power of going to the head? We'll have to see. I know there's a lot of stature when it comes to Canelo, but Joe is no slouch when it comes to the Undisputed game. And he's undefeated in real life too. So we'll have to see. Hopefully we'll get to see and possibly get past like 5 seconds of the contest, because hopefully this is going to be nothing much but the bigger, maybe another Fight Night contender. As we see, I spoke too soon, and it's another DC. So hopefully
amazing! Holy crap! He not only beat him once, he beat him twice, and he beat him twice, not once but twice. This man deserves 100 points. Incredible.
100 points. We're just gonna break the system for 100 points.
We don't need to have him fight anyone else because clearly he is the best of the best.
Oh, so you're gonna give him the title. You're gonna give him the title that we blood, sweat, and cried for, and just give him title and give him 100 points. Is that what we're gonna do? That's not how we do things in the ESFL. We try to work through things. Hopefully, we can get everything situated. Because let's talk about what's happened before that matchup. I mean, we had JMMA getting a victory against Woke Sports.
That was a good fight.
We saw so many great fights. We saw Game Over versus K-Gun Butter, which was a draw. Another draw. So far, we've been so lucky to only have 1 draw in this whole fight card. We're Live versus TLG Legend. That was a bit of a barn burner. That was an insane matchup. Possibly Fight Night contender right there. The Fight Night's Finest, dominance. Just perfection with his striking. Of all those performances you've seen before, what took you by surprise or probably stood out to you the most when you check out this fight card?
Fight Night's Finest. I think that fight right there was, if you had a decision of the night, that man came out and absolutely obliterated Uncle Talent. And Uncle Talent he's got talent. I mean, and he's your uncle. So you know that he's like, he gonna do something,
Mhm.
and he beat him up. Honestly, the possible fight of the night though
Yeah,
was the last fight we just watched
it's up
because that
there.
was so back and forth. That is up there though. I mean, you think about how well Fight Night's finest came through in that fight. Again, like I said, that man's trying to become Undisputed's finest, and he's showing out in that last fight, and he did a really, really good job. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping here that with these with these two with this fight coming up right now, hopefully we've gotten over the technical issues we were just having, and we
Third
can
time's a
see
charm.
EyeGameUWatch. Yes, third time is definitely a charm. But also there's 3 strikes and you're out. So
Yeah.
EyeGameUWatch, EyeGameUWatch, and Roy are going at it one last time. I hope that we're able to see this fight card in action. They are skipping through. That connection is garbage. I really hope that it is just
Yeah.
a not a bad omen.
We'll have to see.
And
I'm gonna call it as we see it. And right now we're past 3 seconds, so we're already
yes!
improving. We have a fight, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Royszn is using Canelo Alvarez on the right side in the blue corner, while we see Joe being used by EyeGameUWatch, who is undefeated, 6 points clear, going against number 5 Royszn. Hopefully, we'll see something really great in this contest.
Nice.
But right now, the fact that we're even seeing punches is a blessing. 3 is the lucky number, and right now, let's see if we can see a combination of 3s coming out of the way from Joe. Because I see EyeGameUWatch. We know his plays out. Either he could be really dominant and have the confidence in the world, but sometimes when it comes to real boxing, when he respects his opponent, that's when you see the true nature of EyeGameUWatch, and he puts it on his opponent. So right now, you can see him just lunging back a little bit, trying to attack the fight, but right now, it seems like he's
Nice.
more comfortable fighting the phone booth a little bit more than Roy's in this.
I would say that Roy is taking advantage of the openings that EyeGameUWatch is having in his block, because what's going on is EyeGameUWatch is very concerned about the body attack because of those perks that come with Saul Canelo Alvarez. So, I mean, he's leaving his head open. And once again, that's about the third time it's happened. Canelo Alvarez has landed a lead hook and a straight. So I would say that he's feels a little bit more comfortable, but as the bigger, taller fighter, likely with the more reach, I'm pretty sure he's got a bigger reach here. I would want to stay to the outside and do exactly that, exactly what he just did there. Throw that jab, throw those straights, and maybe throw straights to the body and then back out and do exactly what he's doing here. I like this strategy, but he gets caught with that lead hook to the head. So keep that in mind as we go forward.
Yeah, you can just see the peppering of jabs coming from EyeGameUWatch, setting up to the counter in the last couple of seconds of this first round. It's going to be up to Royszn. What can he do against his opponent? Because right now, you have to be fighting more of an inside fighter. And already you can see the swelling. There was a little bit of swelling on the left side, but also on the right side. So we may not see as much of EyeGameUWatch, but Royszn, he's putting some damage onto his opponent. And now, can he keep it consistent and possibly get a cut on his opponent?
Yeah, I would like to see EyeGameUWatch maybe not keep his hands up for this blocking so much when he's out of range. Like that was a good opportunity when he backstepped to throw the straight. Yes, I know, cheesy, but it works. It's effective right there, and that is the perfect opportunity when your opponent throws a hook and misses. So, I mean, he could have even done it to the body there. But he is very defensively conscious with using his block, and I think he should focus more on using it with his footwork instead and go into loose mode, understanding that he has a reach advantage.
Yeah, and you can see Joe, not only that he's doing like a backstep straight,
Ooh.
he's doing a backstep, like he's landing some punches, then he's tipping out. He's going like a little bit of a zigzag situation where he's just going in when he wants to. He's not trying to force the issue and seeing where he's not welcome for so long. He's able to get out there and just reset. Like every single sequence is a battle trying to be won. And right now, he's winning with the counters, but for Royszn, it's up to him. Can he get closer and closer where he can attack the body a little bit more? Because right now he's landing, and I'm liking what he's doing with the left hook. The left hook has been his favorite move so far, but when he goes in those close situations and he slows it back, he's still getting hit a little bit much. So hopefully with 40 seconds, he can find his way to go back to his opponent, because it'll be interesting to see what happens to the swelling of Joe. But that body shot right there, Ruthless, that was a good stinging shot from Royszn.
Yeah, it definitely was. Roy definitely, he caught him with that counter left hook to the body, and that might be the beginning of the story. If he continues to go to that body, which I would find reasoning, and when my opponent thinks I'm gonna strike, as you can see, he has a pattern. EyeGameUWatch has a pattern of I come in, I strike, and I step out. Both called that. He's not throwing any stepping back straight, but he's just stepping out of range. When he steps out of range, I step in range, right? I'm now going to step with you. And when I step with you, I'm then going to throw something to your body because you stepping back is going to probably leave that open. See,
Yeah,
right
like-
there. But he's standing still, and that's why he's missing. He needs to step forward.
So you're saying like kind of stick to him like glue a little bit. When he goes, you
Hell
go.
yeah.
Like try to attach to the hip when you're fighting this contest. Because like right there, he whipped on like it seems like he wants to go for the left hooks. The left hooks when he sees the opening to the body, he's going for these left hooks, and they're landing. And he's able to get the counters in. It's just that he needs to stay attached to the hip and attached like glue, as like you said. But with Joe, with EyeGameUWatch, seems like he's staying a little bit more to the outside, trying to use the range a little bit. And right now, when he's going inside, I don't like the way he's positioning himself to go for his next maneuvers and strikes, because it seems like he's going in, he's waiting a little bit, and then he gets hit. Now he's going for his opportunity. So I want to see him be a little bit more proactive when he goes in.
Yeah, you would hope so. I also think that EyeGameUWatch is definitely giving up his reach advantage by staying in the pocket, and that's a very dangerous place with Canelo. So you would imagine that he would again go back to what I was talking about before. Commentator's curse, man. I mean, he said, "All right, well, I'll show you what I do in the pocket." That was a really good glancing shot coming from EyeGameUWatch. Good stuff there.
That's the power. That's the range game. And when you go inside, those punches will have a little bit more oomph when it comes to it. Now it's up to Royszn. What can he do to answer back? He has his opponent towards the ropes a little bit, but able to get out. He tried to do like a power upcut right there. Not really to fully land, but with 30 seconds, Joe, EyeGameUWatch, now he's going to his rhythm. Now he knows like, okay, I can rock you. The things that I'm doing has been working so well. And with 15 seconds, now you're in my role. Now, when I step back, now I can hit you to the body. Now I can disrupt your timing even better. And going into possibly the third round, I think, this is looking to be EyeGameUWatch's fight so far. Fourth round?
Yeah, it's a fourth round. Yeah, it's fourth
okay,
round.
then we're going to see the Copy Box predictions to see what the judges think so far.
Yes, and that makes sense. The second, I would have flipped the first and the second round when it came to that, but still, I digress. The biggest thing that has been going on so far is that backstep, because as you can see, he's utilizing that range very well. EyeGameUWatch. That's what honestly when he did step in and he threw that combination and what rocked him in the last round. That is what he needs to continue to do. He's now in loose footwork mode, and that's going to cause chasing. But the thing is, you don't chase if you're Canelo. You intercept. When you intercept, then you throw some shots that make him think, oh, well, he's intercepting me here. Then you intercept him the other way. All of this should be intercepting, and you want to utilize the fact that you have a reach advantage. He has a reach advantage to your advantage by stepping into that reach and doing stuff like that, and doing stuff exactly like that.
It was a perfect placement shot along after the combinations, because we saw both competitors go for a hook, and Canelo was able to get that nice shot. And you can see the right face of Joe is swelling really red right now, and it's all because of those hooks and that uppercut right there, just able to land. I feel like every single time the lunging back, if you're gonna stay in range right there, you have to be aware that the left hooks are coming, because right now he's landing every single time. And now it's up to EyeGameUWatch as he answers back with 30 seconds left. This is where you have to put the bar burner to bed, and now you have to find a way to go back in, because the right hook, the uppercuts, Royszn is game for a fight right now, and he's attacking the body. He is doing such a nice job, and with 10 seconds, can he finish off with an exclamation point? It's going to be do or die in these situations. The left hooks, the backing in, the backing out from Joe. It's all going down in the next couple rounds as we're approaching the halfway mark.
That was a really good last round there, and I think that's exactly what Roy needed in order to gain some respect from EyeGameUWatch.
Yeah, and shout out to JQB for the raid. We appreciate you guys for coming on. I am your host and commentator Kingsley. Alongside me is Ruthless Omni. We are talking about ESFL Undisputed regular season, week number 4, the midway point of our regular season. The top 8 will go to the playoffs, top 16 compete, and we're already in a bar burner as we see our top 2 seeds fighting in this contest. A number 6 point go-getter, EyeGameUWatch on the left side, use a Joe, and on the right side, a 5-point getter in Royszn. On the right side, uses Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez was able to get a rock, but now it's up to Joe. What can he do to land some combinations against his opponent to answer back from that rock? We'll have to see as we're approaching nearly the halfway mark right here on me.
Damn right, man. EyeGameUWatch. Oh, I like that. I like that he stayed in the pocket there and he didn't allow himself to get pushed against the ropes. What I got so far is a story of reach, and so I still think Roy had a good advantage when he was allowing himself to step forward. I don't know if he's just nervous because of the other rock and he's giving but I think he's giving a lot of respect. At this point, I would push forward and I would chase a little. Only reason I'd say that is I want him to get out of the center. Like, I want to hold the center and I want to defend that like it is my land. Like, do not step on my land. I will kill you. And like, I want to own that center as best as I can. But that's not what's really happening. He's getting pushed and kind of bullied here.
Yeah, you don't want to lose your territory like in the board game of Risk. You want to make sure you have enough arsenals in your hands where you can implement your strategy, your power against your opponent. And right now we're seeing Joe. I'm liking what he's doing. Like, he's forcing strikes out of Royszn and they're whiffing, they're missing. Joe is having a nice time entering in and backing out. He's going back to that same game plan that's working. And as we go to the 6th round, you can see a little bit of swelling coming back for EyeGameUWatch on the right side. But as soon as he avoids the left hooks, the leading hooks, he has an opportunity. He has a chance to rock his opponent. And we'll have to see if he continues that in this round.
Yeah, no rock there, even though we've had about 2 consistent rocks in a row for the previous rounds from either side. So that's an interesting telling side. That is exactly what he needs to continue to do. Step in and throw your shots. And I like now that he's starting to he gave up the center very fast. All right, good. He's circling back in. I like that he's starting to try and own the center of the octagon. With Canelo, that's going to make it a lot easier rather than trying to fight your way back in. Good stuff.
Yeah, and right now you see the 1 and 2 coming from EyeGameUWatch, trying to land a hook and opportunity. Into the phone booth we go, into the body shot we saw from Royszn. Royszn trying to land that left hook. That's been his tried and true maneuver. But so far, it just seems it's just the patient pressure of Joe from EyeGameUWatch, trying to find his way back in, trying to use a jab.
Damn.
But watch out for the counters, because the counters will come in hot and heavy. You can see Canelo loading up a little bit, but not fully getting the right strikes and the right opportunity that he's seen. But the body shots landing, trying to go for the body, gets answered with a counter right there. Royszn still pressuring on, still trying to go into the face of Joe. Joe trying to find his way not to get hit into the body. Under 1 minute left, and Canelo is on the prowl.
Yeah, he needs to start throwing a little bit more hooks because those diagonal lunges, that diagonal movement is coming out quite often from EyeGameUWatch. So you want to try to intercept him from doing that, and do your best not to avoid that counter. Nice straight shot there from both competitors. They both hit each other very flush. You know, I really appreciate this battle. I like the pace that this has been set with. Their stamina, I would imagine, on both of them is fairly high, and it is looking nice. Well, actually, that heart rate, was that heart rate at 160?
I'm not sure. Maybe someone will tell us, but I'm not fully sure. But we can tell what for sure is the Copy Box prediction scores, as EyeGameUWatch has taken the lead with 58-56, so he won the last 2 rounds. So they're liking what he's doing with the range game, with his ability to land the strikes, and he was able to get the rocks. Now it's up to Royszn. What can he possibly do to answer back? There's still plenty of rounds to go, because we're in the 7th round. There's 3 more rounds to go, so he can easily make back that deficit. But right now, the counters to the body, to the left hook, working so well, trying to catch his opponent lacking. I want to see a right hook, and he lands right there, and that's the combination that's landing. The right hook, uppercut to the left, that's working so nicely. But again, the lunging back, getting into the right distance for EyeGameUWatch is working really well, but you need to be very careful. You use a lot of stamina going for these shots that might lead you up. And I feel like what you like about this battle as well is there's just not a lot of mistakes that you're seeing. All of it's the right maneuvers. All of it's the right decisions that you're seeing in this whole contest right here, Ruthless.
Yeah, I also think that Royszn should, if he can, try to continue to put some more punishment on the right side of the face of EyeGameUWatch. And the same thing goes vice versa. I have not been able to see the right side of Saul's face, but I would imagine it might be comparable and look somewhat similar. Oh, thank God. Okay.
You saw the sway and then he just moved back, but that was the right move. But right now, good shots from Royszn trying to able to answer back. 30 seconds and into the body. You see the flashes lights. You see the camera tilt happening. That knows that it's a big shot right there. But EyeGameUWatch still taking the center of the ring with 15 seconds, trying to put a pinpoint into this round as we're moving forward towards the 8th round. Who is going to land a strike? But it seems like everyone is just content to just saying, you know what, we're gonna go to the next round, let's just reset and let's get this going again next round.
Let me see this real quick. Ah, man, that was really fast. I was just trying to let it go to Saul's side. I just want to see the other side.
There's no time. We need non-stop action when it comes to the Esfl, but hopefully we'll get to see that a little bit later on. But so far, as we go back into this contest, round 8, 2 more rounds left to go. You see counters coming in again from EyeGameUWatch, doing such a nice job with the straights, able to answer back with a nice, oh my God, combinations coming in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Electric slide away from his opponent and still getting a damage onto Royszn. Royszn has to be feeling like, damn, what do I have to do to get my opponent down? I'm landing these left hooks, but I can't get hit with these combinations again.
No, he can't. I like that. I would like to see more body straights coming from Saul, but oh man, now I think he's getting a little frustrated here because he's just throwing kind of recklessly, and he's doing it almost every single time that he's coming in, which is exactly what he should do. When you know that your opponent's coming in, start throwing shots, especially if you're not. Oh, he's also in loose footwork mode now. Okay, picking up the pace a little bit, Royszn. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, but what he doesn't like is that he got hit with a vicious straight just moments ago. Oh, but he's answering back with his own stuff. But that's what Joe's doing. This little range that he has when he's down the phone booth has been working wonders for him every single time. And if he keeps on doing it, he'll be able to land some nice jabs. He's been able to land some hooks, some straights. The 1-2s are working nicely. The combinations are coming in so cleanly. And for Royszn to even land a left hook, he needs to suffer through so many combinations. And now the flow state is happening for EyeGameUWatch right here.
Oh, that fabled flow state coming across with EyeGameUWatch. Expected after a great round like that. That was really, really well establishing where he's at. But here's the thing, another thing to mention is I just got a glimpse of that damage, and his damage is definitely higher. I think it would be a lot worse if we saw more body shots successfully landing against him, but he's been doing really well to step out of range as he should, and then landing his own counter shots. Another opening was available right there, coming from EyeGameUWatch. Again, dude, you gotta push forward. You have to push forward if you're Saul and stay close. Otherwise, you're just allowing him to punch you from wherever he wants and to get away from you however he wants to do so. He has been landing very well, but every time he does get hit, he's taking damage. Saul is no slouch. He's powerful.
Yeah, he's definitely no slouch. But one thing I'm worried about is that he's leading with his hooks, right? He's not using jab. I feel like he's abandoned jab. He tried to go for a power hook right there and not able to land. It seems like he's been whipping or he's been praying for that left hook to at least get his opponent rocked. But I want to see a little bit more of the jab. Try to set up that hook. Because if you make it so obvious, it's not going to work out for you. Because right now, EyeGameUWatch, he's just doing what he wants. He's able to go in, he's going out, he's going side to side, he's able to land combinations. If you're just going to land a left hook or trying to see if that opens up his opponent, he's seen that so many times. He's not going to let that happen. So under 1 minute, you need to figure out some different planning. You need to figure out what other avenues can you land for, because the straight works, You need to do something different.
Got to mix it up. I think he's just frustrated. I really do. I think that he's like, just look at the way that he's moving in there. Like he's just trying to get close, but he just doesn't have the answer. And even then, just saw that he had an opportunity to be close, but he backed up. That doesn't happen much unless you're fully frustrated. You got to get focused back up. Don't worry so much about the copy box score. And that's what happens. Woo! Oh, I like it. That was cold, man. A taunt at the end.
He says he has them now, and that is a big momentum booster. I mean, his momentum was over the moon already. Now it's going to another stratosphere because right now we're in the last round. The 10th
and this
round,
weird
87, 84, and now he is feeling the signature move of EyeGameUWatch. He started out with the thrust. Now he's doing it in this week, and now he wants to put his opponent away. We might see a knockout here if he's not too careful.
Yeah, the frustration coming from Royszn is very evident. It's why he's getting caught in those really great combinations from EyeGameUWatch. But EyeGameUWatch needs to, maybe not worry so much about being a show-off to the fans and start worrying about defense, because he got caught there with a nasty combination, and then he shuts me up by landing his own combination. Good job, man. This is a very well put performance.
Just stop the violence. That was disgusting. You just saw
left hook, right straight. Oh man.
Again. Just hit him on the left, hit him on the right. Just bop, bop, bop. I'm gonna touch you like a whack-a-mole and keep you down into this hole of despair. All these strikes, and you can see the frustration coming out of Royszn, saying, "My lead, I will be stuck at the point I am." Wow. EyeGameUWatch, he came into this regular, a little bit of a ghost punch right there. Man. He got him rocked, but now he wants to take him down. He's under 1 minute. He could get the extra 3 points and send him clear above the rest. But right now, he is he is feeling it. Constant barrages of punches. And you know what? He doesn't even need to be careful. He has 30 seconds left here, Omni.
Yeah. I don't know, man. And this is just so spectacular. Coming down to the last 20 seconds of this fight, I mean, he is clearly up EyeGameUWatch, and he is landing glancing combinations and blows, and he is making Royszn look. And here comes some body shots, and he knocks him down.
You play with your food, you get. That is a 10-8 round, possibly, but we'll have to see what the judges' scorecards. We expect it to go to EyeGameUWatch, but with a knockdown like that with 2 seconds left, who knows how the rest of the other judges scored it? We'll have to see at the judges' scorecards. We'll give it to EyeGameUWatch, but a little bit of a scare right there for EyeGameUWatch. Consistent through the board, able to get the rocks, able to get the punches. Those combinations in the 10th round were so god dang clean. They was able to get the victory, and that puts them up to 8 points clear and makes them the new #1 seed of the playoff rankings.
That was an epic match. I really like that Royszn did not give up there. And take a look at this health and take a look at the stamina difference from both of these competitors. That's a GG to these guys, both of them. Great job. Great freaking job. I wish we would have saw a little bit more success and more body shots to land. Unfortunately, we did not. And Kingsley, man, after this match, we're coming up to we got 2 more. We got barn burners, my man.
We absolutely got barn burners. And to think about that last fight, you have to think like, you never know, because that health was lower compared to Canelo Alvarez. So, man, anything could have possibly happened. But kudos for both those guys. EyeGameUWatch, still the #1 seed and all that stuff. This has been such an amazing card. And we still have 2 more fights to go. But before we get to that, let's get to something that's coming along down the further on the year in the fall, because the CFESA Fall Scholarship starts September 1st, 2023. $2,500 toward your education, $1,500 towards Klein tools. So you scan the QR code during today's stream and head on over to the scholarships page and make sure to fill out the interest form to be reminded on September 1st when the applications are open, because the business is booming. You don't even need to even go to college and you can make some good money. And along with that, they help you with your education and towards the tools that you need to be a part of this booming industry. So be sure to click or scan the QR code down below. Help the ESFL, help yourself, and help the CFESA to be in the industry that it is, which is absolutely booming. But again, Omni, we still have 2 more amazing fights, and there's a reason why we had to go into the whole spiel, because everyone is waiting for the event. We are still waiting for that. But speaking of the upcoming matchup, Pryoxis versus Addict85, both guys are undefeated. Both guys have draws. When you think about the co-main, especially what we've seen before, we know that Fight Night Contender could possibly be TLG Legend versus Warlight. That was a huge, amazing fight. The last one we saw, a crazy matchup. This one could be the one.
This definitely could be the one. I mean, you're talking Pryoxis, man. Pryoxis, it has an IQ and a knowledge of striking that is just beyond, up and beyond. When you're talking about UFC, this man has been something of a prodigy. And now we're talking about boxing. He loves boxing and he talks about it quite a bit. So I'm excited to see this YouTube sensation come through and show us what it means to be a top guy, right? And then you got Addict, though. Addict85. This is a guy that is considered an out boxer, a counter puncher, and he's really good at keeping stamina together. You know what that tells me is that he likes frustrating people. Well, I think that's going to be a challenge for him and both sides, really, but it's a challenge for him. You got the Georgia guy versus the Tennessee guy here, and these guys are so close to each other in the United States. However, this fight may be so far, and when it comes to skill, I really couldn't tell you who's going to take this one, but it is certain to be an epic.
It's like when you watch college football and you know there's a SEC battle going on. You know that's going to be so much of a fun fight, a fun contest, a fun matchup. But along with these two competitors fighting in the Undisputed season, along with UFC, is something further down the line. When you think about the fire selection screen, because like you could go heavyweight, you could go middleweight, you could go lightweight. We could see the women's division be implemented, because we know we haven't yet seen a Katie Taylor yet, and I would be super excited to see her in the ESFL. But when you think about these two competitors, when you think about their game plans, their strategies, what weight class do you think would be beneficial for both of these competitors going into this contest as we're still waiting?
I could imagine them going over into lightweight. I'd be surprised if they did heavyweight, but I'd say maybe lightweight. They're gonna go and pick that. I'm not too sure. I don't watch. That's one thing that I haven't seen for a while from Pryoxis is that I'm not too sure.
Oh, so it seems like we got breaking news that the time for talk is done, even though we're going to talk a little bit more. But it seems like we're going to the fight. We're actually going to the fight right now, and it's the women's division. And it seems like they're doing remote play.
And they're
So
doing
Katie
it with
Taylor
women.
versus Jessica McCaskill. I wish I knew a little bit more about Jessica McCaskill, but Katie Taylor, the pride of Ireland, one of the most undisputed boxers from that region. I mean, Katie Taylor, she's probably the pinnacle of boxing. What do you expect to see from the Katie Taylor selection?
Yeah, who's who?
I want to say Pryoxis is Katie Taylor. We'll have confirmation.
Yeah, we're gonna need to get
to the screen.
But still, I mean, and call me a can fighter. I'm not a big. I don't really know about that. But yeah, Pryoxis seems to be the one on.
Yeah.
No, I have no idea.
So just to clarify, Pryoxis is in the red corner using Katie Taylor, and then with remote play, you're not going to see his name, but Addict85 is on the blue side using Jessica McCaskill. So we'll see.
Nice.
Again, Katie Taylor is being used by Pryoxis. Addict85 is on the right side using Jessica McCaskill. And this is what we're going to have to see from Katie Taylor, from Pryoxis. We know that he loves to download his opponent. He loves to have a bit of a filling out process and having fun in the spotlight of the ESFL. Meanwhile, Addict85, he's very appreciative of having the opportunity to be in contests like this, to be in opportunities like this. So to have a contest against Pryoxis, knowing that they're both 5 points in the rankings, if they get 7, they could be in second place and be locked into a playoff spot.
So they're gonna fight hard for that. I like what I'm seeing here from Pryoxis. He's catching his opponent Addict as he's trying to step laterally to the right or to the left with hooks. At least he was trying to there, and now he continues to throw a mix-up of combinations of hooks for the body into the head. Addict doing pretty well to just kind of keep the mission where he wants it, throwing jabs and trying to keep the fight as we have it in the scouting report where he likes it, which is trying to keep it as an outboxing fight, trying to make it so that he's dictating the range and the reach.
Yeah, but that's so difficult going against Pryoxis because we know with him, he's just a master of just like the terminology, the mentality of when it comes to fighting or even striking. So for him, it's going to be all about who can make the right reads, who can make the right adjustments, because there's going to be a lot of 50-50s in this contest. Just like this round, we see combinations going hot and heavy. You see a left and a right hook from Pryoxis earlier before. We saw Addict85 lance combinations of his own going into the second round, and you can see this time you got your wizard ruthless.
That's beautiful.
You can see both stamina and health, so everything's on the up and up. So that has to play a different type of strategy going into this contest.
Yeah, normally you are guessing that your actions have results. Now you know if your actions have results, and that right there can influence your game plan and change how you fight. These two are having a unique fight that we have not seen yet inside of today's card, and that's because they're doing it for remote play, which I think is awesome, and it looks like they have a very stable connection with each other. So nice. And so that's exactly what we need, man. So good for them. And now I like how Pry is continuing to own the center as well as he can. He just turned in there and he did one of my favorite strikes of the entire night, that diagonal movement with a counter hook or rounded strike. That's beautiful, man. And he's going to want to continue to look for those as he tries to sidestep those jabs and straights coming from Addict. And Addict really wants to do a little bit more of that. Find openings and land her shots where she needs to land it, like uppercut to the body, lead hook to the body, and then followed up by a straight like we just saw there.
Yeah, right now both competitors fighting at the center of the ring, trying to find the right avenue, and a nice jab countering onto Pryoxis. Addict85 very much gave it as he lands another counter left hook onto Pryoxis. Pryoxis trying to work the body a little bit more, but trying to go inside, and Addict85, he's no slouch. He is ready to fight in this contest, and he's ready to put it onto Pryoxis. When we see the last competition that Pryoxis has faced was EyeGameUWatch, and that led into a draw, so we'll have to, actually, excuse me, it was J-Shep. So with the higher level of competition, this is where you really need to figure out your opponent and really figure out what can I possibly do to get over that hump, because that's the main thing. Even though he's undefeated, he has 2 wins and 1 draw. He wants to make sure he has no more draws in this competition, because every point counts in this whole result. So going to the third round, I'm liking what we're seeing, even though we see a little bit damage in favor of Pryoxis.
Yeah. That's exactly right. I mean, both competitors are doing their game plan the way that they feel is best. There's really a very tiny edge of damage, but I think the real story is the stamina. But it is only a 10-round fight, and it being at 90% by round 3 is really nothing to scoff at. It's all right. Nice jab countered, and I really like what we're starting to see here come from Addict. He ended up throwing, he's throwing that lead hook to the body and being very crafty and tactical, and is doing and throwing at the same spot over and over. That will accumulate and that will cause an issue, and it's landing a jab when leaving the pocket. So good job there coming from Addict.
Yeah, and Addict so far is moseying around trying to find his way, but
Nice.
gets hit with a vicious counter from Pryoxis. Able to get that favor punch out and into the face of his opponent. But right now Pryoxis trying to land some combinations, but Addict85 able to answer back with a little bit of his own. as we're approaching the 1 minute mark. Now, very curious thing. I know we usually see 3 minute rounds, but I wonder since it's a women's match, are we seeing 2 minute matches or is it still regular 3 minute matches? Hopefully we get a confirmation when we get into the next round, but that could also lead into the contest right here. As we see, both guys are still trying to give it their all in this contest.
Well, yeah, I do think it's a full 3 minute rounds. I also think that they have their speed up as well. So really, we get our minute and a half. The thing is, though, is what I'm noticing now is that's okay. So that right there, the keeping on the outside of the range and understanding where Pryoxis is trying to lure you into, but staying like like they always say, stay few car lengths away, right? 3 car lengths away or something around those lines. Some say 6. You really want to maintain that distance, and I think what we're seeing here this round, I would give to Addict, and that comes primarily just because of the distance control and the counter shots that were landing. Granted, Pry definitely landed stronger counter shots in that round. I'm just not sure how many shots he actually got through. The damage is telling though, but it really is close. It's only 2% off, and that is what I was thinking.
And what's very telling is the EyeGameUWatch prediction scores has one judge has it 3 rounds to 0 in favor of Addict85. So far, the counter jabs, all the movement that we're seeing from Addict85 is working. The judges love it. They love the body work that we're seeing so far. And now it's up to Pryoxis. We know that he's kind of not to say that he's a slow starter, but he mostly likes to learn his opponent throughout the fight. Like, he likes to adapt to their play styles and trying to find a way to execute his game plan. So for Addict85, yeah, absolutely right. So for Addict85, what is his mentality to keep it consistently winning rounds? Because not only that you see the 3 rounds are up, you might take your foot off the gas and like, okay, maybe I just keep it consistent and not try to force the issue. While Pryoxis, if he keeps on doing the same thing he has, he's gonna have to later rounds where it's in his favor.
I would start with a feint attempt. If I'm being Addict right now and I know that CompuBot sets him up a little bit, there's not much else I'm going to change to my game plan of staying on the outside and allowing Pryoxis to walk into some more of these shots. But one thing I don't want to do is allow him to start guessing what I'm going to do next. So mixing up my shots, throwing more like maybe where I would normally throw a jab to the head. Perhaps I'm going to throw a jab to the body instead. Maybe I'm going to throw that straight shot to the body. See, like, that's awesome. It's one of my favorite combinations to pull as well. Lead hook followed up by a backstepping jab. That's the kind of thing that he really wants to continue to utilize and keep his accuracy up, right? Because Pryoxis is blocking a lot more, if you've noticed. So he is starting to adapt, and he's starting to cut off the ring and make it a little bit tougher and suffocating for his opponent. But they're still so close. They're still so close. And just because we saw one judge show for all 3, one judge literally could make this a split decision. He could be off. And that is possible. CompuBot's a blessing and a curse. But again, look how close that damage is. But another really telling thing is the stamina. But I don't think that stamina is enough right now. We're going into round 5, and you're still at 91% stamina. You're doing amazing. You're doing a great job.
And that's going to be the biggest case, because now you have every arsenal in your wheelhouse. You could go for power. You could go for precision striking. You could go back and forth inside and outside the ring. It's all about what can you do in this later parts of rounds. And I was right. It's only 2 minute rounds, not 3 minute rounds. So you have to put a little bit of pedal to metal. You have to be a little bit more active in your situation. So we'll have to see. Addict85, he's doing such a swell job. I want to see if he could do possibly more and keep it consistent. Meanwhile, Pryoxis, we know what he could do in a boxing ring. We know that he could turn up in an instance when he sees an opening. But right now, that range game, that distance, I think that's what sets him apart from other competitors. It's just the range game and how much they can stay in it. There's no lax movement when they go fully in and now it's a mistake and now you're caught into that phone booth. There's always a distance game where they can find their way back in and out whenever.
So my I mean, that means in real life that women's boxing is 2 rounds each?
Unfortunately, yeah, and it's very stupid.
That is really weird. All right. Anyway, well, we all learned something new today. There's still inequality in the world, and it's in women's boxing. That is, I mean, they don't get a full 3-minute rounds, and I think we should approach it. Let them have 3-minute rounds.
Yeah,
I think we should
hashtag it.
boycott them. Yeah, we should hashtag it. Give women 3-minute rounds each. I wonder how much that would change the landscape of the women's boxing.
Shoot,
right?
you know, the biggest case for it, like along with Pryoxis versus Addict85, Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano, probably one of the best boxing matches that we've seen in like the last couple of years. If they have their second fight, shoot, make it
3-minute rounds.
That would be
Damn it.
probably the biggest bar burner we've ever seen in Ireland, possibly. But with 20 seconds left, going back into the action, we're seeing just a well-versed array of skills of thumb work when it comes to this contest. Pryoxis still finding flows, able to back up, and you know, no wasted punches are happening for both of these compares as we see the hooks land a little bit, not as cleanly as they mostly wanted, but going into the 6th round right here, it's still fairly tight, so a draw could still be in play. You can see the health kind of similar, but the stamina very
Well, the
much
health is
in
now
favor
exact.
of Pryoxis.
Yeah, well, and that's crazy that the health has finally caught up on both sides. The swelling, when you take a look on the right side there, has switched. It was the left side prior for Addict. Now it's on the right side. So Pryoxis is mixing up his. He is mixing up his shots. He is starting, and I love that. Did you see that feinted jab to break the distance? That is high level, and it seems so simple. You're just moving your hand forward. But George Rush St. Pierre said that a big part of his strategy would be to overload the senses of his opponent by throwing a lot of feints. And Pryoxis believes in throwing feints constantly when you look at his UFC fights. So this is a really interesting thing that he might be beginning to start looking to throw some more feints. And that was a good opening straight right there coming from him as we get closer to half of the 6th round.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what sets apart from like the strategy from the other competitors. It's like this is a real boxing strategy. Like boxers do this in their real competitions, like feinting the jabs, as you said, George Rush here. He does it in UFC and mixed martial arts, but it's very applicable to every kind of sports. So when you're seeing some like Pryoxis doing right there, or getting hit with a pounds from Addict85, this is the real boxing strategy where it's not just like you're spamming a bunch of moves. This is like where you're feinting the jabs, or when you see an opening, you're going for these counters and these hooks, and it's working really well. You're not seeing a spamming or array of shots just constantly being thrown out. But right now, you're seeing the body work being used by Addict85, trying to land some, go to the body, go straight up to the head. It's working really well, trying to bring Pryoxis into him, but Pryoxis is trying to answer back, gets a nice strike for his troubles, and with 20 seconds on the docket for the 6th round, we're going to 7. We're going to see the Cutting Box prediction scores, and we'll have to see what the Cutting Box predictions has in store for us.
I'm on the fence. I don't know how the last 3 rounds will be viewed. Yeah, this is going to be really a tough one to predict, but I could imagine that Pride definitely won at least one of the rounds in between. I'm not sure if it's completely reversed everything that's been happening. But take a look at this, right? Now we see that Katie Taylor, Pryoxis, has more damage done to her. So, I mean, Addict is really executing the game plan well. And here are the predictions.
Ooh, clean sweep for Addict85, getting all 6 rounds for one judge's scorecard, excuse me. So Addict85, what he's doing, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. What you're doing is very nice. He's keeping the range, he's keeping the distance, he's attacking his opponent's body, and it's working. Meanwhile, Pryoxis, now, if you're in Pryoxis' shoes, do you try to force the issue, knowing that like now you pretty much need to get like a full-on like knockout victory to take the victory away from Addict85?
Yeah, if you trust the CompuBot, which I mean most of the time maybe you should, then yeah, you need to start mixing up the game plan, and you have to make this an ugly fight. You gotta make it so that Jessica McCaskill is not just landing a bunch of shots off of the back foot, which is what we're seeing here for the last few rounds, and you're lowering that accuracy. I think Pry is adjusting, and I like the footwork, but the thing is that Pry doesn't really want to chase. As you can see, he's trying to intercept it, but Addict adjusted to that. But I haven't seen Pry adjust to that latest adjustment. If you catch my drift, he needs to start making a better adjustment. And nice shots there. Nice shots.
Yeah, we saw nice shots for both competitors. We saw Addict85 able to dodge away from the right hook, able to land a body shot, but Pryoxis was able to answer back with his own stuff. But a nice 1-2 from Addict85, able to cause some blinking lights, some flashing lights with 30 seconds left to go right here. Addict85 has been going to the lab, has been put on the tape, and now he is a very game boxer in this contest, because right now he's put in, I wouldn't say a clinic, but right now it's very impressive because both these competitors are undefeated. Similar records, 2 wins, 1 draw. With this kind of scenario, we're not going to see a draw going these next couple of rounds.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that what we're seeing here still is beneficial for Addict and his game plan. Yeah, again, we're switching sides now. We see a little bit of light swelling on the left side of the head. But when you take a look at the damage, which now the damage is a little bit more, the stamina is still there. And I think that he hasn't been very successful, Pryoxis that is, with landing body shots to lower that stamina even more. And that's kind of one of the problems that are keeping the fight the way that Addict wants. But Pryoxis is still not out of this yet. I mean, you can definitely land something big, maybe get a knockdown, or even knock him out. It's really close.
And just, sorry to cut you off, but one thing to pinpoint, you saw what Pryoxis did. He forced the issue when he saw his opponent's stamina was low, and he was able to land all the strikes he wanted. So I think that also comes into play as well, because you see the health, the stamina. Usually, if you have the fog of war, maybe you'll be a little bit more lax with your stamina, and you try to use it a little bit more. But now, when you see that stamina low, maybe that's your avenue to attack your opponent. Because right now, you saw Addict85 use a lot of that stamina. The right hook's coming in for Pryoxis. Maybe this is his avenue to find his way back in. But right now, the distance game looking very nice. And you see the left hooks coming in for Pryoxis. A nice straight. But Addict85 able to answer back. Even though he's getting hit, he's answering back with some shots.
He is. He's definitely answering back against the opponent. And oh, that's my favorite all night long. Good stuff. And yeah, landing shots like that are really going to help you out coming toward the end of this fight in the last 3 rounds that we have. We need to see a little bit more of that. But the thing is if you trust CompuBot, is this too little too late? Right? Because 6 rounds being there, even if you won the next 4, you are still behind. So Pryoxis, I definitely think if he wants to win and if he's trusting CompuBot, he's going to look for a finish. Obviously, we all look for finishes, right? But I think that's what he needs. And
one of the main things, because like you could also like maybe give like a round or two, like just like a trial of error, like an estimate of error when it comes to CompuBot's prediction scores. But still, when you see 6 rounds to 0, that's a play somewhat of a factor in the mindset of what you're going to be doing in this competition. While you're at Addict85, the fact that you use more health or more stamina, and the fact you're leading and you still have possibly 1 or 2 more rounds to go, this is the penultimate round, and it's short rounds. I mean, you have to be feeling really good that even though you're still using a lot, you can still give out a lot. Because look at that. Still going toe-to-toe, going with the strike hit, and still getting out there when it's necessary to not take necessary damage to the face.
That is correct. I mean, right there, that counter shot, that counter body hook. Oh, that was a power straight that landed flush coming from Addict and sending it and delivering it right to Pryoxis. And again, another straight as Pry was turning. He did that sidestepping hook, and he gets caught there. And you see the notification of head health is getting under danger. So he needs to continue to cover up as Pry does. That is not a good sign, and it looks like he's gotten out of the fire. Good stuff.
Yeah, and we'll have to see a halfway mark of this penultimate round, round number 9. Again, Addict85 on the right side, using Jessica McCaskill, doing so well in the CompuBot's prediction scorecards, and working the body so well in his ability. But look at the blockades. The blockades is low. Pryoxis sees an opening, but can he capitalize? Because I feel like the movement has been working so well. But now it's up to Pryoxis. He has 40 seconds to play with. He could definitely do something if he wants to. But right now, with a nice straight with the counter, but able to answer back, but so much of the stamina is being used by Addict85. Pryoxis is trying to fight his way back in, just going face to face with his opponent, trying to land the hooks, trying to land the straights in, but not really finding as much success. 20 seconds left, head under danger! And there's 14 seconds left. Pryoxis sees the opening with 10 seconds left. And we will possibly go into the next round. But that's a huge momentum booster for Pryoxis.
Yes, it is. And what we're noticing now is that stamina finally is getting caught up. We're coming into the 9th round here. Or actually, we're going into the 10th round, if I'm not mistaken. We're coming into the final one. And now take a look at the story. That's different. 60% stamina, 65% damage. And Pryoxis was able to be successful. If Pryoxis is able to get a knockdown and find the pattern, he totally can win this fight via knockout.
Yeah, but again,
you have to play a perfect round.
You got to play a perfect round, and Addict85 still has plenty of stamina to fight back. So it's not going to be a sitting duck. He's going to do everything in his power to fight back and get in the rock of his own. But right now, you see it. Pryoxis going for it.
Oh man.
Okay, Taylor. His left hook brings Addict85 down. The tempo is getting, needs to get up on the canvas, is able to do so. There's still plenty of time here. This is when brings again, needs to go for the good stuff. One more, one halfway mark, finishes off Omni.
Nice. So that was intense. We got a minute left here. Pryoxis knows what it means to be successful, as he just got that knockdown. And Pry knows what he has to do in order to win this fight. So you're going to see that block. As you can see, it's getting lower. Pry is going to work on breaking the block and landing a strong hook. As you just saw there, but now the head health of Pry is a little low. But I don't think he can allow himself to take a break. He has to keep moving. And he's got to find an opening, a nice straight shot. Now the head health of Jessica McCatskill is hurt. Now what do we got? We got 20 more seconds coming up.
Here we go. We'll have to see what's going to go down right here, because 15 seconds left. We see Pryoxis trying to go for it, but gets hit with 2 vicious counters. Trying to go for some, and with the ending line at sight, we'll have to see what the judges' scorecards are going to see as they're going to finish out with a blaze of glory as the judges will call to an end. And you have to think the winner will be Addict85. Red face and all the swelling, takes the victory and goes 7 points clear to take the number 2 spot in the playoff rankings.
That was a very hard-fought victory. Addict85 was able to deploy and execute the game plan exactly to design, exactly to the scouting report. I mean, Pryoxis really wasn't that hurt. I don't know why it says 100. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
it definitely wasn't. That was really off. But look at the body shots and look at the percentages of actual landing from Addict85. That's the story. That is why Addict85 won. He was more accurate during this fight. Even though you got more straights and more hooks and more uppercuts landed, the jabs and everything else, I came over. That's really what ended up winning him. Our streams, the ESFL.
Yeah, so like with that whole contest, as you were leading off, like for what Addict85 had to do, these guys were undefeated. So Pryoxis suffers his first loss. He still stays at 5 points, so he's still very much in the playoff standings. So the top 8 will move on to the playoffs. But Addict85 to take a huge resolve in that contest, to fight with the best of them in Pryoxis. I know he was very much wanting off of his last contest against EyeGameUWatch, but now to realize that he's only 1 point behind him and they fought to a draw. You have to think, if they meet up in the playoffs again, possibly in the championship round, man, that's going to be a big scenario. But Pryoxis, maybe in the next 3, he still has 3 more rounds to play with, so he could easily take the number 1 seed, but he has a lot more work to do, and especially with a bunch of guys coming up like Fight Night's Finest, you have TLG Legend, you have so many other people. His Toon Squad member, JMMA, he's at 5 points too. So both Toon Squad members are at 5 points. So it's becoming a little bit of a log jam again when it comes to the matter of points. So a lot of things could be happening. When you think about where everyone is so far, what are you expecting, especially with our main event coming up? We will talk about that a little bit later. All around, when you think about the standings, when you think of everyone who has competed so far, how excited are you to see what's going to be happening in these next 3 weeks of the regular season?
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing Fight Night's Finest once again, because that was just a clean sweep. The Toon Squad is filled to the brim. Obviously, Pry and JMMA, those guys who are really trying to put out the work and do what they have to do. That's going to be fun to see which one of those two are going to end up getting into this tournament. Addict85 had a masterful performance, and so you know that he's going to be looking to try to take on the winner of the main event here tonight. I mean, doesn't have a first seed, so hopefully that's going to be something that gives him that. And finally, now we were introduced to people like TLG Legend, right?
Mhm.
And TLG Legend, he ended up pulling out the win. You also had EyeGameUWatch, obviously, coming out of the last fight, doing extremely well, doing a very outside boxing style, but he got knocked down last round, right? So Royszn's still within this as well. I'm excited, man. We got a ton of really top competitors coming together, and they are going to show the world why ESFL is a top gaming organization. So good stuff. I'm excited to see it.
It's top tier competition. It's top tier spotlight. And one other little correction: Fight Night's Finest. My bad. You're part of Toon Squad. I was talking about the 5-point leaders, but you have 6 points. So apparently, you're the top leader of Toon Squad right now when it comes to the rankings. But so far, as you said, Omni, this has been such a crazy fight card, an exciting competition so far, and we hope to see more, because again, this is only the midpoint. We still have 3 more weeks to go, and then the finale, the playoffs, will be happening sometime in August. We don't have a definite date for it, but when we do, we will let you guys know. And then also, if you just joined us, if you just came here for the co-main or the main event, again, this is the ESFL Undisputed regular season. We're in the midpoint. I am your host and commentator, Kingsley. Alongside me is Ruthless Omni. If you want to look back on the previous weeks of all this competition, you could definitely check it out on our YouTube. Subscribe, see all the latest content from UFC 4, UFC 3, Undisputed, and possibly UFC 5 when that comes out. Hopefully in October. Who knows? I'm just guessing. And
Please,
also,
around my birthday.
around his birthday, EA,
For my
do it for
birthday.
his birthday. Please.
Do it for
He's
the birthday.
begging. Do it. It'd be the content.
Oh, this is what I
But we
wanted.
are ready. It is about that time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not talking about the future. It's time to talk about the present, because the fight is here, and it's Jobe versus Loso, and this is a big matchup. Loso has 6 points. Jobe has 5 points. When you look at the scout report here, Ruthless Omni, you have to think this is a reason. There's a reason why this is the main event.
Absolutely, there's a reason why this is the main event, man. And looking at both of these guys, Jobe, man, I like Jobe. Jobe has come through on my stream a few times. I've gone to his. He's a really good technical fighter. And Jobe is coming into this with a KO on K Young Butter. Obviously, that's no slouch. And then he's taking on somebody who has 3 victories in a row, which is why he's at 6. It's the only reason he's at 6, with decisions. So, I mean, Jobe's really going to be coming out here looking for this finish as he was doing before. And Loso is going to be looking to continue his winning streak. And also, Loso is coming off of having the fight of the night for week 3. This is the main event. We are here. And it's only fitting that we're in the heavyweight division with the former baddest man on the planet, Deontay Wilder, against former baddest man on the planet, Joe Louis. This is going to be an incredible banger of a matchup. I cannot wait to see this, especially because of the new patch and everything that I've heard about Deontay Wilder. I played as Deontay Wilder when he was, for a lack of a better term, bad. And now I'm excited to know that there is an opportunity to play with him and polish some people's skulls with his shiny gloves.
Yeah,
This is going to be fun.
It's going to be fun, and it's past versus present, Bomb Squad versus the pure baddest man on the planet. And
Bronze Bomber.
I see that we have 12 rounds. Are we okay with 12 rounds? I know we usually have the regular season as 10 rounds, but we're going to ask our people in the back because I saw it before. I didn't want to say anything because you were on a roll, but I want to make sure we're all good with accepting a 12-1 fight because it is the main event. So you got to give the people what they want. Hopefully we'll get word in the back. And I guess we do have our answer. It seems like we're going to hopefully switch that to 10 rounds. Again, you talk about from the previous patch when you played as Deontay Wilder, he was not as like the meta pick or wasn't the favorable pick, even though he was fun to play. Now with this new patch, his power, his literally bomb hands are just like KO knockout artist hands. What are you expecting in the beginning parts? We saw a little bit of a filling out process, but are you expecting them to come out the gate with something like really huge, like maybe some heavy haymakers, or do you think he will like try to set it up with like jabs a little bit, try to be a little bit of a boxer?
Well, the Bronze Bomber, I think that's Loso, right? Loso is going to be the Bronze Bomber.
Hopefully we'll get confirmation
Actually,
of that.
no, it would be Jobe. I think Jobe is the host. I think Jobe is the Bronze Bomber, and then he's going against Joe Lewis. So, in short, I think that what you'll see if it's Joe playing as the Bronze Bomber is a counter style, kind of like the way you see Deontay Wilder fight in real life. I think he's gonna keep his guard up, keep his defenses up, move out of the way, and then land a very strong straight. And he's gonna look for that straight when he can get it. And then you got the strategy of his opponent. My God, I can't believe I yawned.
No, we've been talking for like 3 hours, so I totally get it.
Man. Yeah,
But,
Joe Lewis has got another one of those. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, so just to confirm, Jobe is Joe Lewis, Joe Lewis, and Loso is Deontay Wilder, if I'm correct.
We need a confirmation on that.
Yeah, we need a little bit of confirmation. Actually, can we see? We'll see. We'll see how it is. So we'll just come take as soon as we get like full confirmation. But Deontay Wilder, whoever's controlling Deontay Wilder right now, I love that he's taking the center of the ring so far in this main event. So far, we're seeing him. He's gonna back it out. He's trying to go for a haymaker. That's the first haymaker we're seeing. So we already know the game plan. Go fast and heavy and try to break down your opponent as much as possible. Well, Joe Lewis, we saw against like Smokey Joe Frazier and Floyd Patterson. If you're on the opposite side against a well-known fighter, Joe Lewis, so we're getting confirmation. Jobe is on the right. He's using Deontay Wilder, and Loso is using Joe Lewis. So again, Joe Lewis is Loso, and Deontay Wilder on the right is Jobe. So just to clarify that for everybody who was taking note and getting your predictions out, so you just
being
know
as
who
confused as I was as well. So good.
Yeah, but we're already at the halfway mark. And how do you feel about this fight so far, huh?
I think I just saw an attempted clinch animation. That was pretty cool. I mean, yeah, in this remote session, it is. So, simply put, it's a little bit of a slower start, and as it should be, and that's because they are both looking for a nice big opening, and Jobe is trying to land that haymaker, as you called out before. I would like to see a little bit more power body straights. For sure.
And hey, ask and you shall receive as he gets a power shot onto Loso. Loso, again, trying to find his way into the center of the ring, trying to lunge back a little bit. I don't know if I'd be really worried to be lunging back, even though I'm so close to the phone, because if he goes for another haymaker and he's lunging away, if he has low stamina, that could be a recipe for disaster. But so far, as we see here in the co-main, we get to see both guys' stamina and health. And so far, I think everything is pretty much even except the stamina, going for Loso having 98%. So still have a lot in the tank going in the second round.
Oh yeah, I mean, second round, you would hope that they would.
Hey,
Here,
have you seen
would. I mean,
Warlock's fight? Remember that fight? Shoot.
yeah, Ward Life is a part of the No Stam gang. They tattoo that on as a tramp stamp on their back. They really enjoy throwing all of their punches out for almost no reason. But overall, that guy also proved that it doesn't matter if I have stamina or not. I'll still knock you down. So Word Life, you keep pursuing what you want to rep, man. Overall, here, I like what I'm seeing. I see the power shots coming from Jobe. Joe Lewis hasn't really shown me much in that first round, but it's too early to give any kind of like feedback. We'll see what CompuBot says as we get into round number 2.
Yeah, and here we are in round number 2, and you can see Jobe already still trying to go for those power shots. We know where Deontay Wilder's bread is buttered. And right now, Connor's coming in from the hooks, coming in nice and heavy. And that's the one thing that Loso needs to worry about. Lunge back, avoid the power shots, because you know he's going to go for it. He wants to knock out. He wants the full 3 points. He wants to make sure that he is the number 1 seed, because I don't think no one has someone has reached 8 points. So if someone is able to get a knockout, Jobe could be tied with EyeGameUWatch. But right now, we're under 2 minutes remaining here. Jobe still coming close, leaning with the hooks, able to go for the body shots. But right now, I'm liking the movement that we're seeing from Loso, able to go in and out, trying to play a little bit more of the outside.
Ooh.
And now he's getting some combinations of his own there, Omni.
Yeah, look at the stamina difference, and you see that clinch attempt. That's interesting. It's interesting only because we don't see that in the actual other fights. But look at that stamina coming out of Jobe and Deontay Wilder. It is a little lower, and you see Loso starting to attack the body of Jobe successfully as return to sender. But look at that, the whiffs of the haymakers are really going to put a big damper on everything. I'm shocked that we haven't seen a power straight to the body yet coming from Deontay Wilder, and now he gets rocked.
You saw the whiffs, and you saw the easy execution of just punishing his opponent, not able to get close to his opponent. But Loso able to do some damage. But right now, here we go, back and forth into the phone booth and the body shots. But the head damage was there for Jobe. Jobe was trying to get that strike to land on his opponent. Trying to go for hooks. Oh, what a way to end the second round. Again, very good for Loso, but needs to be very careful about the power of Deontay Wilder.
It doesn't take more than one, right? It's just the right one, and you can be flat on the canvas. So I like what Loso's been doing. That second round, he was able to capitalize on a missed haymaker and found an opening and landed good counter shots. Good stuff. And we will see if Loso can keep up this momentum coming out of the second and going into the third round.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll have to see, because everything is on the table. You're in the halfway mark. There's no room for error anymore. You need to get a victory by any means necessary. And for Jobe and for Loso, these guys are undefeated. These are clean, undefeated records. No draws, no losses. Jobe has a knockout, so he's going to go for the knockout part. But this is something that both guys don't want to lose at 0. They want to stay undefeated as much as possible. And you can see Loso able to dip around and try to land those hooks, not getting the full clean power of it, but whiffs like that from Jobe is going to be very hard to keep him in this fight, because the more he whiffs, and if you see Loso execute and find his way into that pocket, he's going to capitalize every single time.
As he should. And Loso's no slouch. That was a good shot right there. Man, they look at I think because Loso is expecting that we're going to see more action coming up to the head, he keeps pulling back. But the body, I feel, is really open for Loso.
Yeah, but every time you try to lean back and you try to go for the body, maybe he doesn't want to get hit in the head when it goes for the body, because I know that happens a couple of times in the trades, and it doesn't really stun your opponent unless you go for a power shot. So maybe that's one thing that he's worrying about, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly possible. That was nasty. But look at that block. The block is getting compromised there for Loso, eating a lot of good shots to the block. That shows you that there's a big difference in the power. Look at that. Now his head is in danger. The head and health is in danger.
Yeah, the health was in danger, but his Black Age is now in danger too. But again, Deontay Wilder, his stamina is not up to par, and he used so much in the first 2 rounds that when he tried to capitalize, when he sees that head being in danger, he can't fully capitalize or go for a strike unless he puts himself
Nice.
at risk. So it's like high risk, high reward. How much are you willing to give to get out? So we'll have to see how it goes out as we're approaching the last seconds of the third round. The CompuBox predictions will be coming in the next round. But so far, Joe Louis playing a little bit tit for tat, giving some of his stamina himself. But look at the health, 83 to 75 in favor of Loso. But again, it still could be anybody's fight.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, simply put, it can be anybody's fight. What I really am curious about is who's going to make the adjustment that is needed to push forward. Also, what does CompuBot think about what's going on right now? Is it all toward Loso, or is it just a split? Ah, okay, and there it is. Then we have our answer.
So Jobe was able to win the first round, but the last 2 rounds, it was 29 to 28 in favor of Loso. So what Loso is doing is the right game plan for himself. But right now, can he keep it up? Because you know the power is going to be coming from Joe. Because once he see that, he's going to go on a bull in the China shop. And crazy as the head of the bombs are going over the head of Loso. And right now, this is where the danger arises. The danger zone. Call him Kenny Loggins. This is where he doesn't want to be if he's going against a Deontay Wilder.
No, but it was opened up because he started going to the body. And when he started going to the body, he made Loso think about the body. And then he went to the head. He's got to continue to keep this up. And he's also throwing hooks as the camera angle is turning. And it's allowing him to catch Loso off guard. And he is willing to continue to pound away at this block in order to break down and can create an opening for himself to land a nasty shot like that.
One of those are going to land. I could just feel it. As soon as he finds the right avenue or if he attacks the bite and just sets it up, he's going to have a mean left hook. But under 1 minute in the fourth round, we're getting closer to the halfway mark of our main event of Esfl Undisputed Season Week number 4. Commentator here, Kingsley. Alongside me is Ruthless Omni. And right now we're seeing a bit of a barn burner as both guys are fighting the phone booth. We see a little bit of the Black Age being halfway for Jobe on the right side, of Deontay Wilder, while Loso on the left uses Joe Louis is trying to find his way back in to continue on the pressure, able to attack the body, trying to land the hooks, but going winding down the last couple of seconds. Hooks landing for both of these guys, trying to find the phone booth, but we will break it off and go into the 5th round.
That was really good. The 5th round coming up. And what we've noticed now is both men have been rocked in some way, which is a good telling story that obviously in the heavyweight division, these power punchers, it doesn't matter how much damage has been done. You guys seen Derek Lewis finish a man at the end in the last round. After getting absolutely dominated, these men are ginormous and they use their power effectively and efficiently. I do like what I saw there at the end of the round, Kingsley. I saw that Jobe started to take a little bit of a backseat and let his stamina recover. He wasn't so concerned with landing so many shots after he got the rock. He understood that that meant that there was an opening and that the damage is starting to pile up against Joe Louis. Granted, he is 5% behind. However, that can easily change.
I mean, it was closer than it was before, right? It was 83 to 75. And the fact that 70 to 75 now, there's more damage being outputted onto Loso in the Joe Louis corner. So Deontay Wilder is getting some shots in. It's just a amount of how long can he keep this out with all his stamina and all his power. Because the body shots, I like the body shots. The body shots will change everything up. But when you go for these hooks, try to send him up a little bit perfect, and it does it right there, and that's gonna help him out because with these blocks right here, if he's being efficient, he will avoid situations like this. But right now, Loso with all the stamina in the world, trying to attack the bite, but able to escape out of it. But now we're in Joe Lewis's world, and Deontay Wilder says, "I'm gonna wreck it," because right now, Bomb Squad is away. Blockage is very low, trying to go for the hooks right here. Back and forth we go, and a little bit of a clinch right there, but they're still staying in the pocket. There's no referee to break them up. The stamina kind of low for Jobe right there. Jobe trying to attack the body, and that's the thing that we talked about before. Set up the body, and now he could go for the hooks to the head.
Exactly, and he just landed that was a really nice diagonal movement there. Obviously, these competitors and Loso already beginning to utilize the newly added mechanic within the game, and did it almost successfully. Could have landed a good counter shot there. Yeah, look at that. Another left hand lands flush. Left hook landing flush for Jobe on the face of Loso.
Yeah, and you can see
I'm enjoying this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And with 35 seconds left, you can see all the timing into the body. The body is hurt. He needs to run away as fast as possible. 20 seconds left into this 5th round. Loso is trying to put some damage onto his opponent. Says, "Oh, you have the bombs? Well, I have the goddamn nukes in my hand." And right now, he's landing. He is detonating. He is going nuclear onto Deontay Wilder, and that saves him from the bell. And right now, this is where it gets very interesting, Ruthless Omni. This is where the fight becomes the real fight.
Oh yeah, I mean, we were talking about it. The last round was Jobe's. This round's Loso's, especially at the closing. They both rocked each other in the last round at one point, and it ended with Loso getting 2 rocks. He also hurt the body, which is what opened up the head health. And that's exactly the point. You got to mix up your shots. If you guys want to get better at almost any striking game, watch these two. They understand what it means to mix up your punches. You have to mix up your punches. When you do so, you're going to open up the area of which you want to attack. And ultimately, if you mix up your punches and you start landing everywhere, there's really nothing your opponent can do. That's the point.
We'll have to see if the point makes the mark end this fight, because we're in the 6th round. The next round, we will see the copy box predictions. But right now, we see the stamina clear advantage to Loso in the left side, using Joe Lewis. Again, Jobe is using Deontay Wilder on the right in the blue corner. But right now, we're seeing Deontay Wilder trying to put inside and able to land a vicious counter to the body, to the head. Well, we see a little bit of a clinch attempt working to the body again. I mean, that's what you want to do if you're a boxer. When you see you're getting hit from away from a distance, you want to clinch up and try and disrupt the timing. But right now, let's see what Loso has in his pocket, has in his wheelhouse. Because right now, he's able to land, but can he land with the power? Because there's only so much Deontay Wilder could do, because he's working the body, but it's only a matter of time before he goes for a power shot. Ooh, that was it. That was it there.
That was the power shot. That was definitely the power shot. Again, as I was saying before, I'd like to see a power straight to the body coming from Deontay Wilder. It's his fastest punch, at least unless they changed it within the patch. And it is extremely effective, especially coming after a shot to the head. So, you know, there's definitely opportunity. Another clinch, and the clinch is wearing down Deontay Wilder. This stamina advantage coming across from Loso to Deontay Wilder is really making a huge difference. It is really getting smothering at this point for Deontay Wilder. He can't breathe. He can't breathe.
He can't breathe, but the match is so intoxicating and so mesmerizing that you want to just fully dive in to this setup, because with 15 seconds left, with a counter body like that, we still are in a fight. 10 seconds left going into round 7. The blockage is low for Jobe. Jobe trying to find his way, gets the clinch in, trying to work the body because he knows that stamina is so low and the body is hurting. Let's take a look in the mid-round standings. And so far, you would think the body would go a little bit lower for Deontay Wilder and Jobe, but so far fairly even. But look at the stamina, 68 to 51, and the health 65 to 58. So again, a little bit of a wider margin that we're seeing in health and in stamina here.
Yeah, and it's a story of attrition, and it's also because of how Deontay Wilder is built. They gave Deontay Wilder the last round, according to
Ooh.
CompuBot. And it's even. This is an even fight. As honestly, I would say so the same way. I think Los is doing a little better, in my opinion, because of a little bit more rocks, but they are still fairly even. But the stamina is not. The stamina of the damage is not. Loso's hitting him a lot more, and he's landing critical, important shots throughout this fight. And Jobe, Power Jobe, definitely would want to get myself in a situation where my head is not getting hurt like this, or my
Yeah,
body, and that's
and
hard.
Jobe, yeah, it's very hard, and you can see Jobe is very worried as he gets hit with another counter straight, going to the bite hooks. If you want to trade like that, you better come correct because the strikes will knock somebody out. But right now, we're seeing Loso doing his job, trying to slip left and right, trying to get the disrupt timing, trying to work the body. Meanwhile, we see Jobe working his way in, working his way out, trying to find the distance to correctly land that hook. Tries to go for a power
Nice.
shot, lands, but not enough stink on it to cause a rock. But right now, we're seeing Loso with 1 minute close to go. We have 3 more rounds into this main event. Black gates fairly low for Loso. So Joe, if he wants to take advantage, he can right now. Able to land a hook, gets the counter. Will he try to push on the pressure? He tries to go for it. Back in the phone booth, both guys trying to launch away. Body shots, landing, hooks, landing again. It's very close to call. It just takes one maneuver, one more hook. Both guys go for it. We're not just getting to a brawl right here.
This is an epic 7th round, but look at the head health now of Loso. It was red for a moment there, showing signs that he is starting to feel this battle a lot harder. And look at that. It only took about 2 shots. That is not good. If it takes about 2 shots for your head health to give you a warning sign, that is not good. But that's just the power of Deontay Wilder. And I also think that the stamina part of this is because Loso's landing more body shots on Jobe, and Jobe is not sinking as many body shots as he'd like.
Oof.
That was a great headshot, though. Good stuff there.
Yeah, and a great start for Jobe. Working with the hooks, now working towards the bite, but Loso is no slouch. What I feel like Loso needs to do, he needs to capitalize on these 2 rounds, because if it goes to the final round and they have similar stamina and similar health, I feel like it goes into the favor of Jobe. So he needs to really push the pace, because he cannot allow to have Deontay Wilder stay in this contest when the health and the stamina are very even. So this is very key. And you can see the major key come on. DJ Khaled is trying to fight his way to get 3 points onto his competitor. But right now, Loso still trying to find his opponent, trying to avoid these vicious hooks from Wilder. Jobe on his last legs right here. But with 140 left, Loso trying to find his way, trying to find his avenue, trying to take his time, not trying to be over eager with his striking. But we'll have to see. With 125 left, uppercuts may be landing, but Deontay Wilder is probably going to go for another power shot.
As you just saw, he just feinted it. He stopped it right there. He definitely was, and he lands that sidestepping a lead left hand hook to his opponent as he was trying to circle to the center. And again, as I was saying prior, this is just smothering for him. Loso's giving him no space in order to land a power straight. He understands the danger that he would be in if he were to give up and give in to the reach advantage of Deontay Wilder. And he is being a very aggressive brawler right here and doing what he has to do. Loso is producing a lot of damage, and that was an awesome diagonal movement right-handed. He does it again. But the stamina, man, that is atrocious. And we have 2 more rounds left, and he does it again, though.
That's
one more time.
That's what I'm worried about. Those hooks are landing. They are causing damage. The only one advantage that Loso has, along with his combinations, is his stamina. So the fact that he has 1 more round to go before Jobe has nothing left and he could throw the kitchen sink out, because this could be a very close fight. I think it was when we last saw the copy box, it was 2 rounds ahead for Loso. So actually, no, it was tied. Excuse me.
They were even. They were even. I still think they might be still even. That's the funny part about all this.
And that's a very scary thing. So with Loso, he needs to take advantages right here, right now, in this pin ultimate round of the main event here. so far, Jobe is still fighting. He's still continuing. He's still working on the body. He's not going to be a one-note hitter. He's going to do everything in his arsenal to work the jabs, to work the hooks, to work the body. While Loso, he's going to continue on the pressure. You can see him going step by step with his opponent, going for the same moves, going for the same hooks as well. Look at that move. Look at the combination. Legend going for those hooks, working really well. But with this
clinches.
little clinch right there, it's going to be very troubling. But we'll have to see how this whole thing plays out, Omni.
Oh yeah, man. We're noticing that the diagonal movement, that was a great counter hook there from Jobe. The diagonal movement is being utilized by Jobe to follow up with that right hook, and he has landed that right hook onto Loso now 4 times. And there comes the left hand, and he has got him hurt. And let's see if he's able to capitalize on this. Great recovery from Loso. He played it safe, played it smart, and may have gotten stunned, but is certainly not out and is in this fight. He's just going to give himself a little bit of time to rest.
And that's very huge because you see the block gauge was very low and it's still halfway. So these power shots, they're going to deplete more of that instantly. And then you have to think, if the rounds were even, if he just got a rock and he wins this round, that makes the 10th round very, very interesting as we're approaching the 20-second mark right here. Still attacking with these counters, working so well. A nice little left hook from Loso. Loso doing a nice job. But right now, this is where it all matters. The final round is approaching. Both guys are going to leave it to the final bell of swinging. But here it is. Oh, we didn't even see it. We didn't even see the stamina, but it's close. But
and now you can see Loso is up, man. 3 rounds.
3 rounds ahead. This is where you leave it all out there. If you're Jobe, if you want to stay undefeated, you need to pull a miracle out of nowhere and hit that deadly move. Hit the bombs onto his opponent's head. You can see the head damage.
That help was red.
Jobe, Loso going in, body. And that was a replay. We almost saw a replay of that. So what is this, fight night? But you see, Deontay Wilder is down. He's going to get up in the 5 count, but that's a 10-8 round. And if you have to think, if you're Jobe, this is it. You need to fight like your life depends on it, Omni.
And here comes Loso. He is not going to let off the gas pedal here. Going to go 100 miles per hour. Go 0 to 100 real quick. Great.
Yeah, and this is a very... another key thing, 3 points are still on the line. 130 left. We see the head health being damaged a little bit. You can see he is pressing forward. He is moving forward. He wants to get his opponent right out of there real quick so he can make it 8 points and, make it 9 points to be the #1 seed. So here we go. 1 minute left. Stamina fairly low for both competitors. Both guys still
right there. The rock is going to hit him in the body and knock him down again.
Detonation of a nuke into the replay, and right now Loso is hoping, praying that his opponent stays down for the maximum 3 points, but it will take a lot more. 6 count. How many seconds are left? I'm assuming it's probably 30, but there's gonna be a lot of time left. Let's see. 20 seconds. Here we go. Can he pull it off? 3 points on the line, or can he make it 2? Deontay Wilder fighting for his life. Jobe trying to make sure he doesn't get the 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. We will go to the judges' scorecards, and it will go to Loso as he is the #1 ranked fighter going into week 5.
Congratulations to Loso, man. That was a very strategic and well-fought battle. You kept and maintained your stamina. You were not overly eager, and you were not impatient, and you made sure you stayed within the range that you needed to and did not allow for any room to have a body straight or a straight land against you. Those power straights were really what you defended against, and you did a great job. Awesome fight between both these competitors. 47% to 39% of shots accurately landed. This was a hell of a great fight.
And another key thing, we saw the power shots come from Deontay Wilder, but interesting to see that was 41 to 37% in favor of Loso with his power shots. So interesting to see that the hooks were very much in favor of Jobe trying to get the knockout power, but Loso was able to get more damaging shots onto his opponent with more stamina.
Yeah. And that's the tail of the tape, right? Right there. He did what he had to do. He landed these powerful hooks and he executed well. Congratulations to Loso. You are the number 1 seed and you have defeated Jobe and given him his first loss while you now rack up your 4th win in a row.
4-0, and my goodness, who can stop the terror, the rising ascendance of Loso? That is going to be the question the next time we see you guys. But before we get into next week and talk about all the amazing fights that we've seen here before, let's talk about fight of the night. For me, Omni, I'll
Yeah.
start it off. I will have to say TLG Legend versus Word Life. For me, that was fight of the night because you had knockdowns. It was a crazy pace, no stam game. It could be anybody's fight. I feel like that should be fight of the night.
I think that is a very interesting fight because you saw somebody come in with one strategy of no stam game as a tramp stamp tattoo on his back, and he went through forward and he pushed as hard as he could, um, and he did what he felt like he had to do. Then you have a dominant victory like what came out with Fight Night's Finest. I mean, that was absolutely incredible right there. The last fight we just saw was extremely competitive too, but I am in agreement with you. I think Word Life and taking on the man, the myth, the TLG legend.
Hey, I like that.
Night.
Yeah, I would say like if we could give out performance bonuses, I would say Fight Night's Finest was absolutely
yeah.
absolutely
Oh
number
my
one contender
God.
for that. But Fight Night, what got me hyped with that the back and forth, we have to leave it on there, and I feel like TLG Legend versus World Life was definitely it. But again, I don't even think anyone got the knockout bonus, so I think that's the first time that we've seen that. So a lot of great things, a lot of great events, and a lot of great stuff that we've seen in this whole fight card. And we still have 3 more weeks to go before playoffs. So I hope to see you guys there live on Twitch and on YouTube in our Discord. Be sure to join our Discord by signing up and be a part of the next time when we have these events, or maybe what's coming on in the future. But before we go, Ruthless Omni, where can they find you on the socials?
Well, you can find me at Ruthless Omni on Twitch, on YouTube, on Twitter. I actually found a name I can, use everywhere. We'll probably be doing TikTok at some point, maybe Kick as well. So if you want to find me, want to fight me in Undisputed or in UFC, and you want to lose, you can always come and find me there. I'll catch you guys there. Thank you, Kingsley. I appreciate that shout out.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you guys can find me on Twitter, King AHTK, and also on Twitch. I stream. I do a variety of games. But I love playing Undisputed and UFC. I can't wait for UFC 5 to come out because that's gonna be a heck of a game. But right now, I'm sticking with Diablo and League of Legends till we get some new and some WWE. Shout out to my ESFLW people. But yeah, you can find me on King BKR316 on Twitch as well. And you can find the rest of us on the ESFL. Next week, we do this whole thing again. Shout out to the people in the back. Shout out to Boiler. Shout out to Fat Kid. Everyone that's helped us out. Webcam for also helping with wrangling. And just the whole staff for putting on such an amazing show again and again, time after time. But before we go, I want to say thank you to everyone here in the chat for talking, for participating, and just being an all-around good crowd for tonight. We hope to see you guys at the next fight night. So without further ado, have a good one, good night, and have a good time.
Peace out.